Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen. And she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
Don't mention the light bulb.
Do the lights in your office flicker every now and then?
Hey everybody, it's your Buttery Admiral Teague. Welcome to the Enterprise Retrospective and the Star Trek United Looking Forward. We're going to be doing both looking back and looking ahead. We want to welcome all of you. We're so glad you're here. Tweet out that we're live. Let your friends know we're looking back. It's all on the table, all your questions, everything you want to know. This week, we're going to briefly go over the final, and I forgot it was only one episode, but thank God it was. The final story from Star Trek Enterprise. It's not really an Enterprise story. The best things about it are the worst things about it. It is such tenuous canon that it can be easily ignored. Going forward to Star Trek United, if we stick with what happens in this, it doesn't matter. It's just the entire episode happens on the Enterprise D. But you know what? I'm a little out of uniform. Hold on. It was so weird to see Linda Park for the last time.
Last time? No, she's not going away.
She's not going away, but
No.
I mean for the last time as introducing the chronological run of Enterprise. Like, we started this. There are so many coincidences going on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, sirs and madams, I want to welcome everyone here. And with us as a special guest tonight, we have Welshie, RRTNZ. Our friend is here. He's joining us, one of the most dedicated fans of Star Trek Enterprise that we know. It is a great avatar. One of the greatest fans of Star Trek Enterprise that we know, and a decisive member of the community, because when I was really feeling down, I engaged with him in a conversation about Season 3 and the Xindi arc, and it changed my mind about doing it. And Season 3... there's a chance it's the best Star Trek Enterprise season. And it's better than a lot of seasons of Star Trek and a lot of serialized seasons of Star Trek. It's better than pretty much every season of Voyager as a whole, just right off the bat. I don't know if there's too many episodes of Voyager that are even as good as, say, North Star. Season 4, totally different Star Trek experience. These guys successfully redefine how to tell a Star Trek story two different ways. I think they're uniquely set up for streaming, but tonight is the night that we're here to talk about their original show, their 4 seasons of Star Trek Enterprise, and who knows, we might get the 5th in the form of Star Trek United. Let's say hi to the panel tonight. We'll start with Sean. Sean, sir, hello. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Here, let me embiggen myself.
There you go. You get to embiggen yourself.
Works better than that little blue pill, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm doing good. I wish I could make those ships bigger. I got my Enterprise and I got the that one, my Warbird. I wish they were bigger because they're awesome. But I'm happy to be here. Hello, everyone, and this is it, huh? We're gonna wrap up Enterprise. Almost feels like we're gonna start a new chapter in a minute.
One story ends.
What J.J. Abrams taught us is size matters not when it comes to the starship.
That is true.
You know what? Especially when you need that starship to be really big so you can waste a lot of runtime with people running while they yell very minimalistic things and pant and heave for breath while they're talking to someone who's also running and being repeatedly injected by Dr. McCoy hypo-sprayed over and over. One of the most ridiculous things we ever saw was JJ Trek, and it's been 18 18 rough years. And you know what? 17 absolutely terrible years. You know what? We might come of age with this one. They might go 18 years before they do it, but it's come to a point where they might be ready to fix Star Trek. It looks like we're riding out the last of Kurtzman Trek, and we're going to try to be extremely well behaved tonight. We're going to try to do 2.5-hour shows or less for the next few weeks so that way we can have our full say on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. July 23rd, it will be out. It's going to be a hell of a month. We got Supergirl coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm sure that'll be a discussion. And then we've got, that piece of dreck. And we're coming hot off a Mandalorian movie where Admiral T nailed the box office. I said 70 million, and I was right. It was 65. I was optimistic. People were saying 300. I think Star Trek is totally ready for a comeback. And I think we're seeing Star Wars where Star Trek was about 5 years ago. Absolutely no hope. At the nadir, things looked like they were going to change, but it's more of the same. Sort of like when Kurtzman got the extension. That's where the Star Wars fans are. For Star Trek, things are looking up. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but it looks like Paramount sort of stuck their foot out and kicked the handle on that toilet before they let the bully give us another swirly in the form of Kurtzman Trek.
Well,
the water in the bowl is cleaner.
It has been 21 years, 1 month, and 7 days since the episode we're going to talk about aired.
Wow.
21 years, guys. Way
What was
longer
the
than
price
it
of
was
gas?
between TOS and TNG for sure. By a couple of years, right?
I was still in high school with this.
No, TOS and TNG was precisely 18 years.
Yeah, so we're 3 years plus past
Right,
that.
yeah.
That doesn't,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
crazy. That's so
I took my
crazy.
senior exams when this thing came out.
Wow.
It was a tough, study or watch this. And then I was like, I should have studied. Then I was like, well, I'm already accepted into a university. They're not going to not let me graduate if I get a C. So who cares? And I watched it. So.
And here comes diversity hire. Krimlon, he's here to represent the gay fans. Krimlon! Good to see you, buddy.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome aboard.
I'm apparently Canadian today.
The made in Canada, right? Why are you Canadian today? Were you measuring things in metric? Did you use a Robinson
But
fastener?
you said I was gay, so I'm playing Canadian.
Oh, you know what? Sure. Why not, eh? Okay, well, welcome to the show, eh, you hoser?
Eh?
We're wrapping up what has been 2 years. We took this time slot 2 years ago today, more or less. We've moved around between 10 and 9. 9:35 works real nicely. Everyone has a chance to sit down and at least get their head together before we start streaming. And I would just say, since Broken Bow, I have been enthralled by the way they have kept the Star Trek spirit alive. I have been watching. They ate in every episode. We actually saw someone chew food in every single stinking episode. They never backed off of that. There were
But
some
they
things
never
that we
used
left-
the paper towel.
They never used the paper towel, but it did disappear 3 episodes before the end. They took the paper.
Yeah.
I think what happened got used at the cast party. They're like, those last couple of episodes, Scott's hair is a different color, possibly for a different role. Maybe, I don't know what they were thinking with the Mirror Universe or whether that movie was filmed ahead of time. It was very well made. And then the final episode and Terra Prime, they just have such a called back to the set feeling. I don't know if they gave her hair extensions. If they did a fantastic job. But Hoshi's hair is 7 inches longer than the last time we saw her. She had a Friends cut. And now her hair is really long. It was like she did other stuff for a super long time. And honestly, we could have filmed almost everything she did in season 4 in about 2 weeks if they had known ahead of time what to do. She wasn't in this season a whole lot.
They could
Not
have
as
been
much as I would have
extensions
liked.
for another role that she may have had.
Her hair is just so ridiculously long. They weren't gone that long that I tend to think it's a little of both. But Jolene,
Tom
she was
Hardy
just
liked
like
it that way.
I think she looks very pretty in the final episode with the longer hair, but it's not like she ever looks bad. And Jolene might look the best she ever does. She's not having any of it. She's just wearing a normal cat suit. She's got her normal hair, and they put Vulcan ears on her. Anything beyond that, they didn't really push it too far, and they weren't beating up on the cast the way they had earlier on. And I think more than anyone, go ahead.
Were bangs like way too powerful bangs a thing in 2025 or 2005?
Pixie cuts were. I think Jolene Blaylock had.
Actress in this episode seems to have a way too much going on with the bangs.
I think they're growing out their Star Trek haircuts, some of them, so that might be a contributor. Hello, Gooner.
Maybe.
It's almost 3 a.m. I appreciate it, sir. You know what? We appreciate you coming here to help celebrate the end of Enterprise. And, hit that like for me. It really is appreciated. And anyone who wants to share that we're live off the browser, let the world know, on X and all the other mediums. You know what? Everyone's welcome. We're here to celebrate an underappreciated Star Trek show that never got its due in syndication, that, landline and terrestrial TV, cable and regular TV are almost a thing of the past. They're kind of talked about as a secondary market. And even the Star Trek of today has become what they call secondary viewing. Did you guys hear about this expression? Strange New Worlds is secondary viewing. You're meant to watch that while you're doing other things. It's not supposed to be attention.
Sounds like my sex life.
Admiral, there's I don't know if you saw it, but
Admiral Teague, incoming super chat.
We had a little present there from someone we haven't said hi to yet.
I haven't said hi to my co-host Sherm, who is back. He's doing all right. It was great to talk to him backstage, everybody. Welcome back, Sherm. Sherm, sir, thank you.
Yeah, glad to give to the cause.
And you're feeling far less bloodthirsty tonight on a literal and figurative way.
Yeah, the population of the area is safe from bloodlust for the moment.
You know what? We had talked about something else that was going on tonight, so I would direct Sean to the private chat. And you know what? By the way, Sean, thank you for this.
Oh, I know of your fondness for antiques.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Message, Sean?
None of which I am aware. Except, of course, happy birthday. Surely the best of times.
So, where are you off to?
The Enterprise. I must check in before your inspection. And you.
Home. It's my birthday, everybody. Thank you, Sean. That was great.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday?
Yeah, I'm 35.
Holy crap, you're old.
Same age as Captain Kirk in season 1. It's what a coincidence.
15 times over.
I might be turning 18 for the 35th time. I'd have to do the math on that one. I'm really bad at math. No, that might be right. It's really good to see everybody, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for coming to the show, and thank you to my panel, and thank you to Welshie, someone who convinced us to have a better Star Trek experience. And let me start by thanking everybody out there so that we can get this review underway for the final episode.
Wait, before you do that,
go ahead.
I want to show everyone what the Admiral said when I gave him his real gift.
This is a personal massager.
Yes, it was. You know what? We only have to wait about 35 more seconds to say words like that. I think the deal is they assess your friendliness in the first 15 minutes, which is why I always try to be really normal for a little while to start the show. Hi, everybody. I want to say hi to everyone who's out there. We got so many fans and friends. We got Resolute Germ both here and there. Crimlon both here and there. Sig Volderson. Pop culture is dead, sir. We have James Caserta. Sir, good to see you, James Caserta. John the Beagle Dad. Sean, who is both here and there. We've got Radioactive Actual. Sir, Michelle Fairy Tales. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Michelle. It's good to see you. Michelle Mabel. JT Kirk is both here and there. Gooner70 said hello. And Gavin, who has said that he prefers to be called the Blackhair. Blackhair, what's going on, my man? It's good to see you. Hello to everybody. You know what? 104 weeks straight. We didn't miss a week. Even the week that I wasn't around. I phoned it in from my away mission. You guys did an awesome Delta shift. We have been here for the Star Trek community every week. We did try that one experiment where we moved the 3-day weekend show to the Sunday. That still counts because that was a worthy experiment. And I'm not saying we'll never do it again, but wow, I don't know. What are they doing a Monday bank holiday for 4th of July, which falls on a Saturday?
I know for my work, we're observing it on Friday.
That's probably like more people would prefer that. I'm going to reserve it probably on Friday and Monday. But hey, you know, whatever. On 4th of July, come here. We'll be sticking with the Jerry Goldsmith theme, but we'll be doing Patton that day as our review for the 4th of July.
By the way.
Say that again.
In the international group, it's America 250th. So
that's right.
You know, maybe it's not a key issue kind of number, but, you know, 250 is still pretty good, right?
Did you hear the interesting fact that we have going on with FIFA in this? Apparently, there's a good chance that the U.S. soccer team may face England on the 4th of July.
That would be incredible. Cool. That would be so cool. You know what? FIFA really, no one cares about soccer, but people do enjoy the World Cup. It's just, I guess they understand that, unlike baseball and football, you can get really drunk and still understand everything that's going on in soccer. I mean, the Europeans. That's what it is, right?
I will be at one of the games on the 27th. And I just still laughing about nobody cares about soccer, except the other 6.5 billion people on the rest of the planet.
I meant no Americans. I apologize for that. I shouldn't have been flipped. There are many people who care about football, footy, and European football.
You know, the interesting fact that the term soccer was originally created by the English. They started using that first.
Football club, right? What is it called? Social
association. It's association. Football association.
Yes.
Soccer is an abbreviation of association.
Yes, they started calling it that so it wouldn't get confused with rugby.
I think they should have called it Major Teague Soccer, but that's just me.
I'll tell you though, I did watch Germany versus the Ivory Coast, and they went to over 6 minutes of extra time because
I hate that.
It was fall down artists, even better than Italy. It was truly impressive. And then they were in 4.5 minutes. And I got so tired of it. Just, come on. The second I look down away at my phone, they score the winning goal. Germany wins. So oh, damn.
The German team has a two-front offense that's really tough to beat, but it exposes them to twice as many shots on goal.
I do have another little side bit here. Someone here in Kansas City did play a practical joke on the English team. He actually had the entire team sign a copy of the Declaration of Independence.
They probably were in on that. I would do that for the fun of it. By the way, I mean, I did sign the Magna Carta, and hey, there are long-range sensors are picking up some readings. Let's see.
Admiral Teague, incoming super chat.
We have a couple of super chats here. I want to thank our friends. Wait, where'd they go? Oh my God, sirs, madams, Admiral Teague feeling extra dumb today as I scroll.
I got one.
Thank you,
I got
Sean.
you.
Gavin, Blackie, thank you, sir, for £1.49. You know what? Thank you, sir. You know what? You've been here for so much of this. I don't think you've missed a week of Star Trek. You've been here, missed like 5 shows in like 3 years. You have been so faithful to the channel, and you have been so much fun to hang out with and talk to. I can't wait to see you again. That member chat where you beamed in and I actually got to see and talk to you. You didn't disappoint. You were exactly what I thought you were going to be. If you'd been any different, I would have been shocked. You have brought so much, mirth and fun stuff. Your stories of the American air bases when we did Wars of the Air or whatever, the forgettable Air Force thing. Like, it had like 25 good minutes scattered throughout of awesome combat, but that Masters of the Air, it wasn't great. The Air War is just not as cinematic as you would think because of the high amount of casualty turnover. You would have to have like a 10-day scale so that you could have realistic losses and still build characters and go slow. Or you would have to just have this rolling cast of characters like they had in Masters of the Air. And we couldn't tell who the hell was who. It was like having spacesuits on, except there was like a mask, a compressed voice, a hood. You couldn't tell what was going on. But you know what? Thank you so much, Blackie. And then we also have a wonderful gift from our friend JT Kirk with $1.49 Greenlandian Greenback Super Chat. It'll be the coin of the realm in Greenland soon. You know what? I plan on taking my vacation in the United States, in Greenland.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm going to probably get down to the Gulf of America soon.
So don't try
Will
to
that
blow.
be before or after Iran's unconditional surrender? Just asking for a friend.
That's too serious to talk about, but I am sad that for 27 of my birthdays we've been at war. I am really sad about that. I think it's a little bit too high.
Well, you know what little fact that always makes me shake my head is that Queen Elizabeth reigned for 28% of this country's existence.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's a long time. I mean,
That is a long time.
Yeah.
Did you? But that's like Jamie Moyer pitched to 11% of all major leaguers at the time he retired, ever.
And Nolan Ryan struck out 7 father-son partners.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Probably Dale and Yogi. You know what? Welshie, welcome to the show. We got a big panel for you tonight, bigger than I usually have. JT, thank you so much, sir. And whoa, hey, Radioactive Action with a $5 Greenlandian Greenback Super Chat says, those soccer matches would go much more quickly if they just gave either side a Type 0 phaser. That would be hilarious. I also, I have said that, like, because the Jets have been so bad, the quarterback should be allowed to carry a gun. So it's like the Jets are in pistol formation. It's like you see the rest of the other team like backing really far away with their heads in the air.
They should let the Jets hide hidden sinkholes in the field.
They should have a sniper on the roof of the stadium. It's like, yeah, you know
Would that
what?
sniper
Like,
be for the opposing players or your own players?
you know what? We would have the option of changing who it was for at halftime if they really fuck us over. I guess it would be for our players. I mean, I would want it to be for our players. That beginning of American Sniper that's so strong and turned so many people off, I was like, why couldn't that be Woody Johnson? But all right, we've talked crazy for long enough. Let's talk about the matter at hand. 2 years ago, we came into this time slot. We decided to jump the last few episodes of Voyager. No great Star Trek analysis was missed, guys. And by the way, Radioactive, the pistol formation is something that we will all cherish. No great episodes of Star Trek were missed with the fast end of Voyager. Before we jump into this show, anyone want to just say anything about those last several episodes of Voyager aside from conveniently crammed together, made no sense, and made you question just why you would watch this show?
I think
I'd like to say something, if that's all right.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Welsh.
Well, Voyager's finale crammed in all the things that Star Trek resorts to in order to boost ratings, right? You had not just time travel, but time travel and the Borg and future flash forwards all in the same episode. So
And
that was
romance.
a masterful piece of lazy writing. Well done. Good job, guys.
Yeah, don't
Nice
forget the
job.
romance. The romance
Oh, that's
between
right,
7
yeah.
and 9. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
or at least it was a heterosexual romance, so that wouldn't be done today. But there's still, time travel, romance, and the Borg all together. Nice.
The other
it
thing
summed up the last 3 years of Voyager very well.
Yes. I think they also figured they were not going to get a movie, that the TNG films were still kind of going on at that point and not doing stellar. And the chance of them
and sort of getting panned.
Alone Deep Space Nine was basically zero. So maybe they wanted to have a little bit of fun, just a little conjecture. But that two-parter finale was just them trying to make a movie, in my mind.
Do you know what the title should have been? Subspace Corridor Ex Machina.
Ooh. That actually...
Yeah, it would be a better title.
At least it had transphasic torpedoes.
The other thing was pretty sweet, but none of it, once you turn your brain on for 2 seconds, was realistic.
Transphasic torpedo. Just when you see on the shelf, pal.
Nothing about Star Trek, screams turning on your brain. I mean, you got the Q.
I don't know if I agree with that. I would just say,
if you're talking about when Star Trek's done wrong, I mean, when Star Trek's done correctly, you're supposed to be like mildly engaged on a couple of levels. At least that's how I see it.
Measure of a Man has entered the chat. The high ground has entered the chat.
I think to end it, Admiral, we would just end it on saying transphasic torpedo away. We did not get that in the final episode, and for that, I gave it an F.
The only thing that made it like sort of tolerable was that we didn't have Jonathan Frakes coming to the rescue, which really F's up the end of this episode. Let's get the first part out of the way first. Let's do the small part first. Better. Welshie's here for the fans, so I'm going to ask Welshie, hey, Mark Harkness, you've been here for so many of these shows. Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. It's so good to see you. Let me just ask Welshie before we get started. You know what? I've noticed that you have had the most optimistic view of Enterprise. It's not ever poorly defended either. You're able to make a good case for why. Here and there, where you realize it's just sort of a personal thing to you, you'll admit it. You don't have unreasonable cases. You'll admit sometimes it's just sentiment. So, do you have any feelings about these are the Voyages?
Yes.
Anything good to say about it? Go ahead. You get the first word.
But before I do, I'm going to share an intro rap I wrote just for today, because music's what we do, us Welsh folks. So I just share this with you, and then I will discuss my feelings on Enterprise finale. Right? Because just like the prodigal Vulcan, I've returned. Anyone warp into me, you'll get burned. I got logic, and you ain't got none. So if you come to battle, bring your phaser gun. I came to beam down. So get off your ship and beam around. Beam around. Beam up, and beam down.
Nice. Beam around. I remember that video. What was really funny was it was a dude straight arming a woman. That scream. It's a guy like, I don't know what the hell movie it's from, but it's a guy like straight arming a woman right in the face. That scream.
I think the scream was actually a saxophone. I
they
saw
looped
like
it up with the video from like The Quiet Man or something now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, so
it was a saxophone.
The finale.
Because it didn't sound human. Yeah,
the
go
finale.
ahead.
These are the Voyages, yeah? Well, it has Shran in it. That was a nice return to form. A good guest star. Always helps. Also, my take on this episode, my headcanon, as the kids say today, is that because it was a holodeck recreation made 100 years after the events depicted, there would be a certain degree of error. So, of course, what happens in terms of Trip's story doesn't actually happen. It wasn't quite correct. And I can fix that episode with one write-in change. Is it too early for that, or do you want it?
Go for it, because I know how to fix it too.
I can fix it.
Yeah, we're not going to dwell too long on the episode.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're not. Right. It's not a good episode.
One substitution fixes the whole episode. You ready?
Right.
Okay, who's the character who all through the show is obsessed with noble death, noble sacrifice? It ain't Trip. It's Reed. It's Reed.
Oh, Reed.
Right?
Yes,
so
that is true.
Here's what happens, right? Trip is about to trigger that panel collapse, which will defeat the aliens and kill himself. But Reed comes blasting in, phaser in each hand, shoots the aliens, gets phasered by one of them, drops to the ground. Trip finishes him off. Reed's dying in Trip's arms, and Trip's like, "Oh, you saved the ship," and Reed's like, "No, I saved my friend."
All right, that's actually better.
My first guess.
I like
Porthos.
that.
You
My
know what?
first
Yeah.
Porthos, but Lieutenant Reed, I see it. But that actually would be tremendous.
Perfect resolution to Reed's character, because he's a number of times he's nearly died saving the ship, right? And he's willing to, right?
Yeah, he's
perfect resolution to his
he
character.
almost had an obsession with it.
He did.
Here's my thought. Keep what Welshie said and add this. You ready? Some dialogue in the first episode of Star Trek United where we find out that there's a lot of hollow novels and fanfic about their final mission in the beginning of the Federation, including one where Trip dies. And that Archer thinks it's one of the less well-written ones. How about that? That it gets mentioned as in-world fanfic, and that Riker was studying their mission, but he was also reading the Choose Your Own Adventure fanfic version of it. It didn't happen that way.
I really like our RTNZ's point, and I could just see him instead of Tucker giving that weird ass smile when he goes into the hyperbaric chamber. It would be Lieutenant Reed saying, "Sir, my father would be so proud that I am going down with the ship."
No, his last words.
Rule Britannia very slow and somber for 2 measures as he gets lowered into the chamber.
No, I Reed's better last lines I think would be, "Tell to Paul she has a nice bum."
How about as they lower him down, he reaches out and touches the glass of the hyperbaric chamber and says to Archer, "Ship out of danger?" We could try that. No, as far as the final episode goes,
enough. It's not quite British enough.
Does anyone want to talk about the final episode and their feelings about it? I felt that it could be written off as a hollow novel fanfic in the Star Trek United world. That's my thought right there.
The thoughts on it, Admiral?
You could do it.
No.
Should we go around the horn and
we should go around, but
Yeah.
first I want to say something important. Streamlabs, we have 6 people here tonight, or StreamYards, we have 6 of us here tonight. It's stepping on JT really bad. If you hear when we're talking JT, I guess from the order we got here or whatever, when we speak, JT seems to get drowned out if we pile up. So let's not pile up so that everyone can have their say. And let's try to keep tangents to 60 seconds before we give anyone a chance to respond, or see if we need to check it to the tangent parking lot. This way we can do a 2-hour episode of this, because I really do want to go 4 or 5 hours when New Trek comes out. I want to save our bullets for that, guys. Go ahead.
I think that's the epitome of the pot calling the kettle black, or perhaps in this case, the tangent calling the tangents tangential. I only come here for the tangents. I come here for the mad ravings of a complete lunatic. So I thought
my tangents are on
disappointed.
I just got all kinds of insults off of that one.
As long as your tangents. Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, my tangents are still untimed. It's my show. I get to go on.
Brilliant.
I get to go on tangents.
Cool.
However, I have exercised. If you've noticed, they're higher quality, shorter tangents. There's tangent control. I've been working really hard to be the best, host and moderator I can for this channel, and to try to do as best a job I can for the chat, which I can't pretend I'm doing great at tonight. We've got people coming in that I haven't said hello to. I said hi to Mark. Who else is out there? Gooner's hanging in there like boldly. Radioactive with a $2 super chat says, "JT, what about straight phasic torpedoes?" He's got a good point there, although wouldn't they be cisphasic? Right? Because the transphasic torpedoes believe that they are straight. They believe that they are straight torpedoes. In fact,
They
there's
were
nothing
assigned
more
straight.
Right, they're
assigned
not the
straight
kind of
construction.
torpedoes that It's very much that's what they're doing in Into Darkness, right? The torpedoes aren't the way they were assigned at birth. They've been changed. Eugenically changed. They've been given surgery. Some of them have had penises added.
Sir, oh
They're
no,
torpedo fluid.
we're gonna get so canceled. Well, this stream is gonna be done.
This is where 108 weeks of Pride weather pays off. I don't care if we don't get the green AdSense badge on this. I'll turn off the advertising. It happens every once in a while. We are really compliant. We are really careful. And really, the reason why I did just throw down the tangent rules is this. We have, on July 23rd, Strange New Worlds coming out with their last full season. We may
Unintended.
Is it that close?
It's 10 weeks away. Yeah, it's only 10 weeks away. Well, a little more, right?
No, wait, July 23rd?
Yeah, no, it's July 23rd. So, yeah, you're right. It's 5 weeks.
Can you just say Strange New Worlds coming out with a little more appropriate emphasis, please? Because that's got to be an intentional pun.
I love that Paramount fuck with them so much because this has been ready for a while. They're like, no, we're not going to have Star Trek on during Pride Month so that you can fuck with it and ruin the value of the brand anymore. We're going to have Star Trek on during, the last weekend. You know what? We'll give you that for your specific audience because you're less than 25% of Trek fans, and like 4 days of Pride Month is far more than you idiots deserve. So I don't think it was a good choice, but I do think that Kurtzman was probably going to the mattresses over that one as far as, getting this on during Pride Month. So
going to the mattress?
Yeah, or the glory hole. I'm just so glad that it's coming to an end. We have these 26 episodes left, and I don't think that Starfleet Academy is going to be on Paramount Plus. If it's not, we won't review it. That's my promise, because then it won't be a threat. If it's on Paramount Plus, we have to. That's, sorry, guys. We have to have some standards.
The whole situation reminds me of the Star Trek episode, Who Co-Signs the Tangents?
And that rant brought to you by our good friend, Radioactive Actual. And hello, Kal-El. Sir, it's good to see you here. Sig Valdeson, hello, sir. Good to see you here. Sir, pop culture is dead, but you know what? Star Trek's getting its original writers back, so maybe Star Trek leaves pop culture and becomes something a little more like the folklore of America. I don't know if Star Trek, if it comes back being 65 to 70 years old by the time it gets viable again, if we're going to be able to call it anything but Americana. What's a Western? Do they call, if we put out a Lone Ranger movie today, they'd be like the big new Western before they ever mentioned it was a Lone Ranger movie because it would be significant in that area more. But after that last Lone Ranger movie, you would want to lead with anything else. But you get my point. So
there's a sci-fi version called the Clone Ranger.
Is there? That's probably it's probably better. So let's do this then. As far as these are the voyages. Let's all have our say. Welshie, did you say everything you had to say about that one?
Yeah, I said everything I said. I was going to say to JT, do you think Teague's tangent there was more Leibniz or Newton?
Oh, Newton, definitely.
It went a little sideways.
On to the next.
Would this be Newton on crack, heroin? Would he be drunk? Would he be on psilocybin like Shakespeare was in the analogy?
So
don't tell me. Go ahead, JT.
Yes, if I may, sir, with your command authorization.
Of course.
Okay, all right. So when I watch this episode every time, I do my annual watching, I can't help but thinking, why did they insert someone else into the end of their show? This is really the William T. Riker in Deanna of Troyes episode. And I cannot get over the terrible haircuts, the morbid obesity, and the fact they crossed their hands over like Nurse Chapel from Strange New Worlds to cover the fact that they really didn't tailor these uniforms correctly. And you probably
Riker's is billowing
in the first place. Why is Riker a Mako? He is so in no way that. In any way, I don't want to get down that road.
He looks a lot younger in the face than he did physically. His physique had gone to hell.
what had really bothered me too was just the terrible writing, and you could tell that nobody even tried. I know it was a Rick Berman, Brandon Braga, quote unquote story, but you have all kinds of really huge problems in within the episode that don't even have anything to do with canon. How does Deanna know to tell Riker, oh, skip to this part with the Andorian, skip to this part? And then Riker invites her.
I think I'm okay with the with that under both premises, though.
She
Come on, DVD special features.
She claims to not know anything about the whole story, but at other points she tells him to skip ahead to this and that part. I'm like,
oh, you're right. Okay,
so
that in that way, yes.
Do not. It just totally made no sense. I also get the feeling that they kind of pulled a mini Kurtzman here and maybe too much of the money. And I can't prove this. It's pure conjecture that they spent all the money on Brandon Braga, Rick Berman, the TNG cast, and the TNG set. And then when it came time for Archer, Scott Bakula, to actually give his speech, he basically does it in like a backlot with a green screen in front of him. And the only thing that leaves you to feel something in this entire episode is I got a little eye sweat when Archer's theme started playing during his speech. And that was the
I got that when he hugged to Paul, I started to cry.
Mm-hmm.
Paul doesn't act like herself. None of these actors and characters act like themselves.
It feels really, like they haven't played the role in a few weeks or a few months,
or they were just terribly upset, and had to have been hard for them.
That's true. Maybe they were upset.
I mean, granted that they're professionals, I'm sure they did the best they could, but there's probably an underlying sadness that they had there.
Least affected is Colin Trenier. Colin Trenier, he did a great job in this, even though his story was shit.
And I'll just end it by saying I was ending a series of a show that I loved, thinking how poorly this episode actually fit in to the episode about the Pegasus, because it just doesn't even line up with that episode very well. Mm-hmm. How bad of a final episode is that someone else steals your thunder? Scott Bakula is a big enough actor. I felt like he should have been able to slap aside these TNG interlocutors and just say, no, this is our show. We're doing the final. Get over it.
It felt like a rescue operation on Jonathan Frakes' directing career, actually.
He doesn't have directing credit.
He doesn't?
No.
It's so poorly. It is really poorly directed.
Interlocutor or interloper?
Interloper, sorry. Yeah.
That's right.
Stream of consciousness a little bit there. Thank you.
You know what? I appreciate that one. Let's pass the ball over to Resolute Germ. Germ, this final episode, your thoughts.
Well, instead of giving you my thoughts on this, sir, because no one really cares, I'm going to tell you what really happened in this final. If you want to know what really happened for the final mission of NX-01, you need to go find the Star Trek novel, The Good That Men Do, by Andy Mangel and Michael A. Martin. It tells the story about Trip entering Section 31 and setting back the Romulans on their plots to start a war with the new coalition and sabotaging their singularity drive. It's the first book of a trilogy of Trip in Section 31. It retcons this whole story. It gives Trip a great ending, great action in the 3 books. I highly recommend The Good That Men Do. Great book.
All right.
That's the story that really happened.
All right. Thank you, Resolute.
Well said.
Let's go now to Crimlon. Crimlon, what did you think of the final episode of Enterprise?
I was not a fan of the final episode. I think you guys pretty much stole everything that I hated and wanted to say that was on this.
Well,
I feel like they just kind of
you did like.
Well, they just kind of threw everything together last second. It just kind of felt like that this was just. It wasn't even one last hurrah. It was just purely just something they just kind of threw together. So I did not like any bit of it. And that's all I'll say.
You know what? Stop beating around the bush. What did you think? All right, so Krimlon.
I gave it an F. I'm not a fan of it.
Germ, Krimlon, and JT so far have not liked the episode.
There was a reference to the monsters from the very first episode with the TV night. From Tucker's room, they found that Frankenstein.
From movie night, that's right. He gave to
Where
Paul
I
the
said,
Frankenstein.
Did not like.
Yes, I liked it. I liked the movie nights. I was sad that we left behind the decon chamber and the movie nights. I liked both of those references, but we kept eating. We kept the eating.
Do you mind popping up on screen what I'm sharing? So, folks, in this episode, there's a lieutenant while they're going through, and Reed's asking Tucker, we're going to mothball this thing next week. Why are you doing the 6-month maintenance cycle? And they're talking about purging the injectors. And he said, this person here said, we're halfway done. And Commander Tucker says, make it quick, Lieutenant. And he says, aye, sir. The guy that said that, actually astronaut Mike Finke, or Finky, I don't know. At Radioactive Actual, you probably know how to pronounce this. You're
Let's
big.
Go with Finicky.
Okay. Big Pittsburgh fan, but he is still flying to this day. He is trained as a pilot on the Boeing Starliner and the SpaceX Dragon system. He also was certified on the space shuttle, and he does the Soyuz craft for Russia as well. So very, very impressive guy. I read his whole bio here. Very cool life, former Air Force colonel, but he was a cameo on the show with the speaking part. And I wanted to call him out and say, thank you for all your years of service. And it was cool to see him integrated. He also was the 4th longest person to stay in space, I think over 500 days. The one who was next to him without a speaking role was astronaut Terry Virts.
I miss when Star Trek had these amazing relationships with NASA and relevant astronauts, rather than having, discredited political candidates or somebody who had, said something stupid.
Right.
Well, they wanted to inspire science.
Yeah. Mr. Virts here, I won't go too much into what he's doing nowadays. Not important, but he is recorded when he heard of Leonard Nimoy's passing. Had picture taken with him giving the Vulcan greeting hand sign to Earth through the window.
Oh, that's great. What a great! I remember that picture. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyone else notable in the scene?
That's all I really had on that. I just wanted to bring up.
Thank you.
There was something good in this episode, and it was cool and relevant to real life. There you go.
They kept it relevant to real life, and they had a homage. Honestly, if you're a certain age, you'll remember, and maybe Sean does too, at school, where we would see, please to raise money for the for the orbiter, for the orbiter to be completed, for the test vehicle to see if it would work, and we can't keep building. We have to see if it works, and people weren't giving any money to it because pessimism was kind of high, until they got together with the Star Trek people, and the public refused to fund it until they renamed it the Enterprise. So NASA and Star Trek used to have a connection, and then this happened, and now it's become bad activism. What does Kal-El have to say? Sir, let's see. The only thing I liked in this episode was the final scene with all the starships from all different captains speaking where no man has gone before speech. I had to think about that one. It was the right move to mix his voice with all the other captains because of who he was. But that because he never got to do it, there should have been an episode where he had done it, or they should have shown him giving the speech. Also, that makes no sense why you would give the speech that way, Like, why would he, wouldn't he have said something like, space, the final frontier, we are here to ally, to explore it, rather than these are the voyages of the NX-01 or whatever, and they start with Picard, I believe. They don't go in order. And it's just like, what is Picard, some major star with this great speaking voice where your franchise's biggest star by far is William Shatner? The only thing I can say for that is I was very happy to hear William Shatner's voice in its full richness. But I agree with that, Kal-El. It was important to mix him with the other captains. Jump ball on that one. Anyone have an opinion on that?
On the
Bakula
final...
doing the captain's oath, which they passed off as the Federation's founding
I was fine
speech.
with it.
It was kind of dumb.
That was fine.
Yeah, it's the only salvageable part.
I felt like they had to mix him with the other captains.
And I think, are the only part that no one would have an issue with at some point, right?
The only thing I would have had an issue with is if they had Jeffrey Hunter harvested somewhere and it was like, we managed to synthesize Jeffrey Hunter's voice starting it. Like, that would have bothered me.
Admiral, may I submit this question to the crew?
Go for it.
What did everybody think of the CGI? I'll give my opinion first. I did not like.
I was going to give my. We kind of got off track there. I was going to give my my review. I don't want us to forget about it because it's all here. I don't want to lose it. Is it okay if I go, sir?
Sure.
Okay. I'll keep it brief. I agree with all the crap everyone said. I will just say this. I'll say that the one part I liked about the episode was they at least paid respect to Shran and Archer's friendship. I do like that that mission centered around Archer doing something for his friend, and that was key to Archer's character. They at least stuck with that. I'm glad they put that in there because all that interaction we had with Jeffrey Combs and Bakula for several seasons, and to have it, at least they paid that friendship off and showed that it would continue. And I think it was someone in the chat was saying something about it. Ariel Ballet felt like General Shran's story was supposed to be the main focus. Yeah, I agree. It was at least it was the catalyst for the plot, for what happens is that, and I appreciate that they did that, and that's about the only good thing I could say about the episode. But at least we got that. So there we go. There's my review.
Sean,
okay.
Here, do you think Trip had to go to such measures because Commander Riker was a Mako and he was the one assigned on shift at that time, and he was too obese to run to the hospital in 3 minutes, and that's why no one else from the rest of the crew showed up to save them?
Probably, but Trip would have been the one that was most clever. That was clever enough to pull that off. Yeah. But it was really stupid. Those aliens fell for that. Like, it's like, come on, they had to feel. How do we get Trip to sacrifice himself? Oh, let's have him fry them with a giant fiber optic cable.
FYI, we just had a little talk backstage about this. The one thing I did add was I added some links to buy. You can buy the series if you want it. I added that to the show, and you can get a couple of Star Trek T-shirts. We weren't able to find the book, but
no, I ordered it, by the way, Germ. I just ordered it when you were talking about it.
I'm gonna use a token to listen to it on tape.
That book's been out of print for about 10, 15 years now, so they are kind of hard to come by.
I found it on Amazon. There were a couple available.
Okay. You know what?
It's good.
I'm looking forward to maybe just forgetting what happened in this episode. And I realize now that when I because it's my turn, now I'm going to talk about my reaction to the episode. I did not like that we were talking in retrospect about Trip in a way that was very easy for us to tell who had died. I did not like that they let the air out of the balloon in their own bad story. I did not like that there was no money left over for anything, including uniforms for Riker and Troy. I did not like that Deanna was playing herself like 17 years after the fact, looking terrible. I did not like or want to hear any more from Brett Spiner, from the people I have had enough of Brett Spiner in Enterprise. He went as far as he could take it. Even just his voice on the intercom in that moment when he talks to Deanna was more than enough, was too much. Honestly, like that was the moment he jumps the shark as an Enterprise and Star Trek actor. He should never have done any more Star Trek after that. His Picard acting was absolutely just the worst of the worst. And I thought that the story for the second week in a row to be about, a kid in jeopardy. I wasn't ready for that again. We just beat that drum. There was no money left. It seems like a lot of it was just to justify that 1 minute of sitting in Deanna's quarters talking about the Pegasus experiment where you can see the debris and all of the asteroids out the window for the best moment of interior of the entire TNG series. I mean, it would seem to me more like de-age them or recast them and somehow cram that episode into Pegasus.
Just don't do Pegasus at all, Admiral. Just have them sitting at a bar in San Francisco or some kind of thing like that, right? You could have had them just in...
They could have just been at Starfleet Command using a holosuite, or they could be at Deep Space Nine going to Quark's holosuite to incorporate more Star Trek stuff. You know what? The Voyager crew could have been there, decompressing. I mean, you could have done something, made an event of it. You could have gotten all your Star Trek people together, and maybe at the end, you watch a archival tape of William Shatner's Captain Kirk.
Lieutenant Harry Kim there fixing your holodeck for you while you're going in. Get
Lieutenant. I like that. Lieutenant.
Yeah, you could have had so well, and then he wouldn't have been an ensign. It would have been, some finality that you might not have gotten in the Voyager. So there were so many
Someone ethically deactivating the EMH, saying that it's gone too far, it's perversion, and we're not going to make androids. That's a Star Wars thing. That would have been great because that would have spared us so much pain.
There were so many cool things you could have done if you were going to drag in actors and actresses that had no business in a series finale. There would have been so many cooler things you could have done than this. It was such a missed opportunity.
I'm not going to let her off the hook for what she said. That was a real asshole thing that Marina Suda said, and she spiked the football on half of all the fans in Texas, and it was so petty and so mean to fucking say, and you're a British lady, shut up. And, who are you trying to prove yourself to? And my feeling on this was, while she looked okay for a woman who was at that point 50, she was playing herself at like 34. It wasn't working. And some of the directing was just to cover up their age. They cross back and forth in front of each other and walk behind objects a lot to try to cover it up. They try to cover up how Riker's gut, he's standing behind that counter cutting up like carrots, and all I could think of is this was a role intended for William Shatner, and here it is tanking out with a bad performance by a guy who I am used to, even in the worst Star Trek product, even in Insurrection, which was the worst Star Trek tale of all, really. Jonathan Frakes was still convincing as Riker. He's always been good as Riker. I never had a problem with his acting in it. The only episode with Riker that I think I'll call out as awful is Shades of Grey, when tape shows used to be a thing. But aside from that, they are
50 of them.
Yeah. No, there's an episode called Shades of Grey that they kind of don't even put into syndication. It's a tape show. It's a best of the first 3 seasons when they're teasing the idea that they might kill Riker. Or was the first 2 seasons?
That was a season 2 episode, I think.
It's the last one, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was
the
last
episode.
Translation for the audience. He loved it.
I didn't really enjoy it.
Shades of Grey should have been about Deanna's hair in this episode we're talking about.
Shades of wig. I mean, she just like threw one right over her hair. It didn't look. Her hair didn't look right.
Hairpiece.
Yeah, it didn't look right. Her hair didn't look right at all. It didn't look. It wasn't sitting on her head right. She hadn't cut her hair. She still had long hair, but it was like probably had streaks of gray, or who knows? Maybe she had purple hair. She's a whack job. But her wig wasn't sitting on her head right, or they didn't do a good job with the hairpiece. This was just like. Again, Jonathan Frakes to the rescue. We didn't need it. Like we've heard several ways we could have improved it. I'm going to end it right now by saying what a lackluster end and what a terrible way to remember it. It should be suppressed. It should not be shown. It should be taken out of circulation. The only cool thing about it is that Star Trek ends with a mashed up tape show, which is a lot like the Menagerie, which has pieces of the cage in it. So in a way, it ends with a symmetry. It's like a poetry. It comes back to you. I'll give it that.
There you go, Admiral.
It rhymes.
That's what I was.
Doesn't look too. Oh God! Whoa! Did you use AI to swell up her face?
No.
She got bigger in other areas.
She got Botox. Yeah, she went and obviously she got the rack made bigger to kind of make the face look smaller. But oh my God!
Look at her. No, that's all weight gain. Look at her arms.
She's got arm waddle going on. You know what? It was like she did not age into being someone who is convincingly Laxwana Troy's daughter. Laxwana stayed in much better physical shape in her old age than her daughter. I guess the dad would have gotten fat if he hadn't have volunteered for hazardous duty to get away from Laxwana.
You're all so picky. I'm from Wales. She's got all her teeth.
No.
What are you complaining about?
She was very mean to a bunch of Americans. It might not have been used anywhere else.
Who hasn't been?
Really cruel.
No,
she shouldn't have said it. It was really cruel. People were dying, and she made light of it. It wasn't like a hurricane or anything, but it was a fairly. It wasn't. It was something of a disaster. She looks better there.
She had to apologize. She was made to apologize later.
Look, we're not going to give her an out for what she said. It wasn't that great to see her again as Deanna because it was too far after the fact. Like you said, it could we've heard several fixes. It was lazy writing. It wasn't the people who had shepherded the show to such a high place. For the last 4 weeks, we had gotten 4 great episodes in a row with the 2 Terra Primes preceded by the 2 Mirror episodes. Some of the best Star Trek we're ever going to get. And then it's like sad trumpet music to end the freaking show. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but you know what? I just got a reading on some pre-animate matter. I don't know exactly what it is. Sean, will you do me a favor and put up a level 3 containment field? I'm going to try. I think I've got it locked onto. I'm going to beam it right to the bridge. JT, get your phaser out. We don't know what to expect. It's our pal, you know him, you love him. There he is. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and a lot of family stuff going on this weekend. But glad I could make it to this show. Everyone's asleep right now. Everyone is pooped.
We've got a bunch of people here watching us. I want to thank everyone who's hanging in there with us. We'll be jumping on your comments in a minute to see what you think before we get into the analysis of the series. You're here at the perfect time. You get to be the last person, have the last word on their final episode. Everyone's calling it sad trombone music after what was like a series high for 4 straight episodes to end it out. Under the people that Berman and Braga sort of dump it on, then they come back to suck up the last of the money in an episode where when one of the people that the Makos stuns falls dead, he hits the wall and the wall falls back behind him because it's just fabric. It is the cheapest, one of the most poorly done episodes. The story isn't totally awful, but like we had just done Kid in Danger week before. I had a lot of problems with the final episode. What's your thoughts on These Are the Voyages?
Well, initially I thought it was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, right? You know, the series finale. And unfortunately by this point, yeah, you know, once I knew the series was canceled, like we're going to spend money on this. Nope. Let's do the cheapest bottle episode we can. And, you know, when you heard about it as a fan, like, you know, they're going to have Riker and Troy, you're like, oh, this could be cool. And I think, and I've only listened for a few minutes, but I'm sure you mentioned how everyone eventually apologized. I think you mentioned, the actors who played Troy and Riker. They all apologized, and no harm was meant, but it just ended up, and even
she sounded really fucking stupid. We've all said dumb things, but I mean, yeah, like we'll if she goes back and says it again, yeah, but like. We're not going to forget it, but we'll say like people make mistakes. We'll leave it at that one.
Yeah, it wasn't a malicious thing. Like let's screw over the Enterprise cast. Let's try to do something cool with the TNG, which is very popular, and try to tie the two together in some way. But it was just like when Riker is cooking, he's the chef and he's cooking. I'm like, where's Neelix? I mean, at least you could have Neelix cooking. I'm like. And
we said we could have had them at Deep Space Nine with the crews of both other shows in at least make an event out of it, and they didn't do that either.
Or what they should have done is you can do a bottle episode like this, but have Riker and Troy just a couple of seconds here and there, like 30 seconds, like it's a flashback episode to the formation of the Federation, and there's the setup here, but. It's way too much of Riker and Troy. You really only could have used just them as a focal point, as the viewer from the future. But have just some real cool episode with a lot of action and the birth of the Federation. And we didn't get any of that. I didn't even, what did we get in this episode? It was just we get part of the speech at the end. We don't even get the full speech from our captain at the end. So. They clip it, so it's just a disappointment all around. And Riker's just a
yeah.
I don't want to see Riker as a chef. Oh, it's so bad.
And when we know that was supposed to be, we know that was supposed to be Shatner. When we know that it was supposed to be Shatner, yeah, they were thinking that would be Tiberius Kirk, great-grandfather or grandfather of James Tiberius Kirk, and that he had served as cook on the first end. That would have been amazing because we would have gotten Shatner.
Yeah.
It just hurts all the more.
Don't make him a cook.
He would have had zest.
I love cooking though. So yeah, but
Shatner he made sure he's like, I insist that I ride a horse and cook in Generations if we're going to do this garbage.
Well, maybe he could have made mac and cheese for Tilly.
I have put together a special low-fat mac and cheese. I've also talked to a friend of mine, Harry Mudd. These aren't for you. These are for me.
Mark, at least we kind of got a decent speech out of Archer the previous episode. Maybe that's what they were thinking. Oh, he already gave a speech.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to watch this episode again, and I really didn't want to, but I would have if I had the time. Don't we only get like 30 seconds of his speech in the end of this, or don't they?
It comes out.
He doesn't even start. We get his end of the captain's oath, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, honestly, when you want to think about it, because why would he be talking about the voyages of the Enterprise, etc.? He would have just, given a speech that was more in line with some of the other things in that opening monologue. And they don't even start with him or with William Shatner. They start with, of all people, Patrick Stewart, like he's some great orator. Even though he does have a good speaking voice, I would argue Patrick Stewart is second to William Shatner in speaking voice recognition and speaking voice distinctiveness. And speaking voice fame. I don't think he measures up to William Shatner in that. William Shatner is known for his amazing speaking voice. And where's Patrick Stewart's record? Where's his album? Where's he singing?
The narrator for Ted.
That's possibly his best voice role. But yeah, and by the way, Ariel, you're mentioning the Terra Prime episode. Here's what happens. For some reason, they were able to get their hands on the DNA of DePaul and Trip, but I think they got it out of the Enterprise transporter from a sympathizer who worked on the ship. That guy deletes himself in a really powerful and sad scene where Archer can't talk him out of it. That episode was as good as this episode was bad. That two-parter, we really enjoyed Terra Prime. Why the only hole in that story was that DePaul and Trip were absolutely gobsmacked, and Trip wasn't so sure that he wasn't getting lied to about her never being pregnant, with the baby, when we'd seen them create life a bunch of times, it's like they were so clueless about their own science that I was waiting for George Lucas to just walk into the scene and be like, sorry, I wanted to tell you about the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. You guys heard of him? You mind if I eat this? I'm going to finish that. Hold on.
You've gone too far in a few places.
Right. Exactly. He was a Dark Lord of the Sith, so powerful. Hey, Trip, you gonna finish that? That looks pretty good. Anyway, I don't have a neck anymore. Lego George Lucas and real George Lucas are indistinguishable. Hey, Read by Nature. Peter Weller was a good antagonist. We felt that he wasn't used as well as he could have been. We would have loved to have seen him do another role in Star Trek. I love saying that. Somewhere not too far away from me, New York, returned to New Yorker with his tail tucked from L.A., J.J. Abrams. Way to represent the whole town. Please make sure you are a Met fan and not a Yankee fan. You are no winner, J.J. Abrams. Coming back from L.A., a loser. A loser. I mean, okay, Aaron Judge could say the same thing, but you know what, JJ, you didn't do much for Star Trek, and tonight's not for you. Hey, Lombardi, good for you.
No, you don't want Aaron Judge to say anything. He might hurt himself.
Aaron Judge, it was terrible. He broke his jaw this morning. Did you hear?
No.
He was shaving.
How long was he on his knees?
Fuck you,
it was a light breeze came up and it just took him out.
How did he manage to live to be like 35? How did he manage to survive this long?
Well, that's what it happens when you miss 2 full seasons worth of games, which he has.
But at least he does really well in the playoffs.
His little syringes away. Now he can't pull a Barry Bonds anymore.
Yeah.
That's just not true. No Yankee has ever cheated except Roger Clemens and A-Rod. Anyway, getting back to
Greg
this.
Nettles would never cheat. Greg Nettles would never use a bat loaded with Super Balls ever and have it explode.
Ever. And Billy Martin never said anything unreasonable.
The best thing about Babe Ruth is he didn't use performance-enhancing drugs. He used performance de-enhancing drugs.
It's like Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is like, what do you say? Why am I going to lose my medals for smoking weed? And they're like, you know what? That is a little too far. You can keep them. He's like, now he's the spokesman for therapy. He's like, they tried to take my medals away saying weed was a performance-enhancing drug. What the fuck? I needed therapy. It's like, yeah, I can believe that. All right, guys, we've said what we had to say about the final episode. Let's just quickly take a look at what the fans are saying about Enterprise. We gave them a chance to rate it, and this will be more or less the topic of the rest of our conversation. What's closest to your opinion of Star Trek Enterprise? Great Star Trek, 65%. Greatest Star Trek, 4%. Some people out there really think it's the best Star Trek show. All right, long may you run. It's not Star Trek, 16%, significant amount, and 12% of you like the stream and see results. I want to just say you're all wonderful people for participating in our poll. It's going to stay live. We already have 25 votes. My God, for this channel, you know what? Honestly, Great Star Trek would be winning by a lot more, if not for all the... There's going to be a lot of late dumps of votes, I'm pretty sure. We've just lost monetization for all time for that rant. But anyway...
Are we like California?
Exactly. You know what? California just finished voting. It turns out Clinton got reelected twice. He won a second term. No, let's get back to the matter at hand. Although I do believe that we can talk about the series as a whole. We did have a conversation about season 1 and 2. And I'll just say my piece first, and then if you guys want to dispute it or add on to it or build onto it, we'll do that real quick, and then we'll have the majority of our discussion, and we'll be about seasons 3 and 4. And guys, thank you so much. Hit the like and follows if you're out there, and if you're coming through later, welcome to our comprehensive retrospective. All right, so this is my opinion. You ready? In season 1, It was one of the best seasons of Star Trek ever. It starts out with possibly the very best first episode since The Man Trap. Absolutely fantastic. Just a great, Broken Bow's great Star Trek. It got me psyched up and back into it. It washed away the sins of Voyager and Deep Space Nine's ending really quickly. Even though Deep Space Nine had a better ending, it was still a little hokey and weird. This was Star Trek that I wanted to watch every week, and I enjoyed it. Life was still going on, but I made sure to watch it when I could. And I think I was catching it on the rerun, but it didn't matter. It was like the first time I was seeing it. And I was happy to see these stories, and I liked Scott Bakula as captain. And season 1 was great. Season 2, they really screw up, and they get really badly out of order. And they don't do the episodes in what I would call a conducive order. I don't know if it's the budget cuts being dealt with as they learn to lean into it. We have a bunch of episodes that focus on just one crew member at a time where we needed to work and concentrate on teamwork and them being a crew. And so what we get is a lot of individualistic stories and a lot of one-off stories that aren't quite as good. They're still very Star Trek, and they stay in the Star Trek tradition. Some of them are forgettable, though, like their attempted redo of Captain's Holiday, where Archer meets that chick on Risa. I just didn't care.
I thought we weren't talking about that.
Yeah.
Risa stays on Risa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just say that there are some things on Risa that should stay on Risa, and I don't want to ever go there again. There we go. With some great Star Trek art. Thank you, who's ever doing that. Sean, is that you? Way to go. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm pulling each season picture.
Have you ever gone to Risa to Seeking Jamaharan?
Is that the fertility statue?
Yes.
Okay, I can't believe I remember.
Oregon.
It worked.
Well, what do you want to tell us about seasons 1 and 2? Are you there, buddy?
Oh, who are you asking?
Welshie, RRTNZ.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, do you want to start out with your opinion of season 1 and 2?
Wrong person.
Yes, thank you, Sean.
Go for it.
Maybe not. I prepared. Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah.
Can you not hear me? Oh,
can you hear you now.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through.
Can you hear me?
Now you're coming through clearly.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Oh, he can't
probably
hear
say
us.
some really inappropriate thing.
No, we
Some
can
really
hear you.
inappropriate.
You sound good.
Okay then. Well, I'm probably not the best person to review 1 and 2 as I prepared for 3 and 4. So
Right, well,
I'll just say
gut
that.
feelings.
Well, gut feelings. Well, 1 was really good. It had that really good episode. Was it Doctor's Orders? It was the one where Phlox faced an incredibly taxing philosophical problem about whether to dispense certain life-giving medicines to a particular planet, solve their problems.
Well said.
There was some very hokey stuff in there. Archer was very naive, which, if it had been intentional, that particular development of his character, as in the changes he undergoes through season 3, which I think is the strongest in terms of Archer's character, then perhaps it was very clever. But I mean, I'm not sure if there was that intentional yet. But yeah, as you said earlier, in season 1, they go around giving out their address to every alien species they meet. Oh yes, third planet from the sun, Sol system, very nice. It's like your neighbors in Wales. Anyway, but yeah, so with season 1. Season 1 had some ups and downs. I'll just say this for season 2. I believe it was the opener, Shockwave. I am quite partial to the second part because Archer performs a flying drop kick and then swears at Silic. So, I mean...
Very Shatner, the flying
calls him an
drop
ugly
kick.
bastard. So you take that, you ugly bastard, and just gives him a good beating. So that was very satisfying. I think season 2 had some quite good episodes, particularly with the Klingons.
There are good episodes. I feel like they're in a terrible order.
Yeah, that's the point. I have to agree with you. There is the order of those episodes creates a very uneven pacing for the season, so that it's very strange, and you don't
Carbon
really.
Creek is like peak Star Trek, but that should
it's
never
wonderful.
have been episode 2. That's like your episode 10.
Yeah,
It's so
Carbon
good.
Creek.
You want people
it's
invested in the
it's a mid-seasoner.
Yeah,
it's a
And it's so
mid-seasoner.
good.
Yeah, that's great. So that's my take on season 1 and 2. Yeah. it just odd decisions, I guess, behind the scenes in terms of, play order or whatever. I mean, I guess the show is really finding its feet. I mean, Star Trek TNG is the epitome, or I shouldn't say epitome, it's a bad example. Pun intended. Star Trek TNG is a great example of a program that hits its stride in season 3. Because season 3 of TNG, they change uniforms. You got tons of great episodes in that season. Sins of the Father, ends with Best of Both Worlds, Power 1, The High Ground. I'm trying to think of the top episode in season 3. Deja Q, where he loses powers. The Most Toys is in season 3, which is a brilliant episode.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
Kivas Faggio is a great, interesting character. Like I
Saul
might
Rubinek.
be like that in the future. Yeah,
Saul Rubinek, great Canadian character actor. Warehouse 13.
He's great in Unforgiven.
Oh yeah, he's pretty brilliant. Well, he was in Frasier for a while too. He was he's a terrific character actor.
The Duck of Death.
Yeah, the Duck of Death.
He's the Duck of Death's biographer. The Duck of Death is great. Richard Harris.
Indeed he was. So the unevenness of season 2 really really derailed its progress as a program. And then, of course, we get season 3, which is my favorite season, although I think, from a personal standpoint, my one summative comment, season 4 is the absolute sweet spot between episodic and serialized storytelling. It gets it absolutely spot on season 4 because you've got these amazing 2 and 3 part episodes. Then you've got single episodes so the audience can catch its breath. And then you've got another multi-episode arc. So season 4 is just about perfection in terms of storytelling. Maybe not all the stories, but the storytelling approach, I think, of season 4 was perfect, just in time to get canceled.
This was the only story in season 4 I disliked was These Are the Voyages. I think you just said it well. You said it really well. So I guess, unless anyone wants to expand on like the dichotomy where season 1 is one of the most streamed seasons in Star Trek, and then people aren't watching the rest of Enterprise because season 2 is just so discombobulated, is it time to rearrange the order of the episodes now and do some forensic repair to keep the momentum going? Because you got peak Star Trek in seasons 3 and 4. And season 3, I got to, again, thank Welshie for. He encouraged me to watch it, even though after watching The Expanse, I wanted to skip the season. And I was angry at Enterprise from season 2.
Well,
I would have missed a lot of great Star Trek.
Remember, going back like almost 2 years when we started this whole endeavor, was just how well all of the actors and the characters that were written for them to play just hit the ground running. In mesh, sure. And they felt like a real crew, and you don't get that in TOS in like the first half of, maybe first quarter of that first season. TNG, it takes them almost till season 3 to really feel like they're working together. Season 1 of Voyager was a pretty big miss for a lot of that. This show had probably the best new cast, new characters, just melding and feeling like you're already in season 4 of a TV show. And it's easy to take that for granted, but that was a huge reason for the success of season 1.
My outlier on that one would be Deep Space Nine. It seems like in the movie they hit the ground running, and then the rest of the first season is like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And I would agree with that. I think that's a very apt assessment. My only thing to say then with season 2 is you take this kind of detour for a lot of individual character stories and you feature them a little too heavily. Now, often on TNG, you end up with character stories, but it's not promoted to be that from like minute number 1. It's the fact that Data has a skill, or Geordi has a skill, or O'Brien has a skill, and then they just become the focus of the episode in Act 2, or maybe even Act 3, and then it becomes a character story. They do it a little bit too heavy-handed with more of a modern TV show take where, nope, from second number 1, you're only featuring this person, and if you don't like this character, well, then I guess you're not going to have a good week. Better luck next week. Kind of approach.
It's been said a few times that Deep Space It's been said a few times Deep Space Nine is the most different Star Trek show, and I agree with you, and that's why I had my Deep Space Nine bail matrix. I would bail on Deep Space Nine exactly like this. Deep Space Nine had a, like, do I stick around quality to it. Is if I saw the young cast or whatever, the child cast, because Nog was like 30, but when I'd see them, I'd stick around because their stories tended to be good, and I thought Sirach Lofton was a pretty good actor. If I saw Kira, I would try to stick with it, but if they start shipping her, or she's going to spend time just telling Vedic Baral how good looking he is.
You stuck with it, Admiral. I know you did. With Kira, you stuck it. I mean, stuck it.
May I interject?
Might have been a little sticky after
May I
watching
interject?
her in the outfit. Go ahead.
Does the season, DS9, it stalls a little bit until the episode The Gem Hadar, which introduces the Dominion as an ant. And they mention the Dominion, it's beautifully set up. But then that episode, is it last episode, season 2? I think, The Gem Hadar, where Nog, Quark, Cisco, Jake are captured on a camping trip through the wormhole by the Gem Hadar, and then there's a Vorta who's in prison with them, who sort of, pumps them for information before escaping at the end. And that shifts a whole series. And if you stick through season 3, which is pretty good, you get a massive reward in the opening episode of season 4, Way of the Warrior, which not only is probably got some of the best ship-to-ship combat in DS9, but also brings Worf on and takes Worf's character to the next level. Right? That's when that show really kicks it into high gear. When Worf comes in,
that one.
You've got to reestablish all the relationships with the characters with Worf. Him and O'Brien, of course, know each other, but that changes the dynamic with Bashir. And then Garak really takes off in season 3 as well. Or maybe season 2. When's the episode when the device in his head needs to be removed or repaired? Is that season 2 or season 3?
Season 2.
But Garak is in season 3 and 4 really comes into his own as a character. So I say that, Deep Space Nine was definitely worth the wait. All right, interjection over.
Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts before we refocus?
Welsh, you brought up a good point. I do got to credit the writers of DS9, because by bringing Worf in, you add another character to an already pretty large ensemble, and they pulled it off pretty well. Everyone felt, it feels like everyone was present, which has got to be really hard to do. But I will say this, like when we get into the Dominion War, there was too many episodes where they forgot that the Dominion War was happening, and like all of a sudden they're on some vacation somewhere, and it's just like, hey, what happened to the big war that's supposedly going on? There's occasionally an episode or something where it kind of yanks you out of that. But
you talking about where Worf and Jadzia go to Risa in?
Yes,
I really like that episode.
Officer and
Worf gets just brainwashed by that cult, like
yeah.
But I do think they did well. But it was a big risk to bring in another main character, but they did it well.
I don't know if it was a risk so much as, the fans were screaming at them that they wanted a starship and more characters. That was actually out there in the fandom at the time. And am I missing these? Did I miss 2 super stickers? They're not showing up on StreamYards, but do I see them on? They see maybe. Am I watching the wrong episode of my show? Is that why?
While since we've had if they were 2 birthday slices of cake, then we did that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
You're saying. Soldiers do get time off from war, especially with morale being hit so hard.
That's true.
That is true. And here's the other thing. The Federation, they're a pretty huge operation, and they can handle a war and rotate out their officers for sure. But the other thing is this. Star Trek fans want episodic Star Trek, so I think there was always a reluctance to go hard into a season-long thing where you never break away. Even the Xindi arc, They find a couple of times to stop off at a couple of planets, Battlestar Galactica style, and just kind of spend some time there. And then we found out like that the Battlestar Galactica derived episode wasn't that Battlestar Galactica derived at all. Was actually one of the better episodes of Star Trek we'd ever seen. And what have we been doing? We had been writing it off as low effort Star Trek since we saw it. The experience of rewatching this has been incredible. And hey, Krimlon, sir, thank you for gifting a membership to one of our fine channel community. It went to
Aerial
Ballet,
which is cool because Aerial Ballet 1990 has been very active and cool with us in the chat this evening. So
awesome.
Maybe we'll get to meet Ariel at the subscriber meeting. I was looking for the Krimlon emoji that Sean made like a year ago that I didn't install. I could have beaten Mark to the punch, but we like Terra. I figured the symbol of late, as we'll call it, Terra Prime was more important for the short term. You know, Terra Prime for Enterprise may be over, but Terra Prime forever.
Oh, well, are we giving a synopsis of episode 1, season 1 and 2 right now, or what's?
I was going to just say general reactions to season 1 and 2. Why is season 1 so strong, and why does season 2 seem to kill the momentum for the show in so many ways? It stumbles through season 3 with like the smell of death on it, because season 2 just doesn't work. And it wasn't like it was chancy or ridiculously bad Star Trek. A couple of cornball episodes, the Rogue Planet being maybe the worst.
How about Carpenter Street when they go to Detroit?
That's season 3.
So season 3. I'm telling you, talking season 3. Well, I mean,
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay, yeah, but well, that's why season 3 they're struggling a little bit, but they get back on track. But now my view is, season 1 very strong start. Cast gels very well. And what I really liked was the primitive tech, too. They don't have shields. The transporters are kind of wonky, which kind of explains how Dr. McCoy doesn't want his, atom scatter, because then he grew up in a time period where transporters weren't, normal everyday occurrence, or, maybe not as reliable. So I love the low-tech aspect of it. The design of the ship is phenomenal. We never got to see the refit version, but what a brilliant design!
It was supposed to be in that final episode. We didn't get it. Yeah.
And we didn't get it, but what a brilliant, brilliant design by Doug Drexler to have that heritage there. And Sean does a great job of building these little ships. Right? He plays with toys.
But my wife lets me play with models.
I think Sean maybe has like Santeria powers, because when he made the refit NX-01. Within weeks of me getting it, Star Trek United was born.
There you go.
I think Sean made it happen. Like he wrought that future.
I wish I had that kind of power. I would send Kurtzman to the cornfield.
Please. You're a bad
Send
man.
him away. Send him away.
You're a bad man with a bad face. I think that guy had been on Star Trek. The guy gets turned into the Jack in the Box, but we'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
I don't.
By the way, I watched the sequel to that the other day. I finally got around to watching with Billy Mooney's a grown up.
Yeah.
It's Still a Good Life.
Yeah,
that's a good episode.
His real daughter
Twilight
plays his daughter in the show. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's why you posted the picture of her. Okay, it went through my mind that Billy Mooney's daughter is like 50 now, because Billy Mooney's like 70.
Yeah, she's
which is crazy.
Yeah. But we'll get so season 1, as Krimlon said, there's some cringe in it, but I kind of fell in love with the show. I just hated the time travel, temporal war, just the Suliban. I couldn't stand that. So that's where I love the getting the engines online and working to get the ship to travel. Then they want to have a warp 5 ship. So all the low tech, high tech stuff. As an engineering ship nerd, I really appreciate it. But the temporal war is like, not time travel in Star Trek again, please.
Yeah. You know what, Mark? That temporal. It just occurred to me when you said that. that screamed of me of the network getting involved and saying you need to do something time travel. It's like they didn't trust the writers, or they didn't trust the showrunners to.
I'm going to cite all good things as Berman and Braga delusionally saying that Star Trek needed to go into Doctor Who territory, because there's a line in there at the very end of the end where the Q says, "I redefine and give you a new mission," and he brings time travel into it.
All Good Things wasn't time travel though. It skirted.
No, but the Q says some shit about you have your new mission is now to travel through time and dimensions too. They don't. But they kind of try to do it in the movies a little bit with the Nexus.
He doesn't tell them that's the mission. He says that you have to have an open mind if you want to get further as a species.
That's true. It's like a Metron-like allusion to it. I thought it was trying to set up the Nexus, and I thought it was putting time travel as their new imperative.
Yeah, All Good Things was almost a what if, or just it was all contained in Picard's mind. It wasn't.
Doesn't really happen.
No, it doesn't, because no one's aware of it. But
Mark, what did you think of season 2?
Yeah, I love Carbon Creek, and I remember at the time reading a review of people trashing Carbon Creek. I'm like, did you watch the same episode? So that's one of my favorite episodes in Enterprise. Yeah, I guess they hated it, but to Paul, I mean, her acting is great as her forebear in that, and it's a great setup, great flashback. But yeah, just it's just that season 2 is pretty weak overall. I'm gonna say, and then we finally get at the end. Then we get the Xindi probe and the attack, setting up season 3. But we'll talk about that later. But I just think more of the future tense, that temporal agents and Romulans again, and just too much of that temporal temporal time war again, and some of the episodes are good. But what was the episode that wasn't Hoshi trapped in the transporter, kind of like Kirk? And at one point, wasn't she floating all around the bridge? At one point, Hoshi, what was that episode? That was.
It reminded me of the Reginald Barclay getting beamed in with the creatures, the bacteria that were supersized in the matter stream. It reminded me of that. I can't remember the TOS episode though.
Although we do get to see her in her sports bra.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed that.
What about the board one? What did you guys?
Points. Vanishing Point is the episode.
Vanishing Point. Thank you.
The episode.
I even wrote a song about it.
And thank you, by the way, Crimwan, for the membership. This rant brought to you by Crimwan. This rant's from Crimwan, guys. As I scan the chat, Phlox is the best Doctor. Hot take. I don't know if anyone here feels the same way. Sean doesn't like him. I have some issues with him. Germ has wondered about him. I think JT wants to shove that paper towel roll down his throat. You kind of like his. You only like Dr. Phlox because he doesn't take supplemental insurance.
Hey, he's
you like his strong
amoral,
anti-insurance stance.
Lets anything happen. Man after my own heart.
I love Phlox.
Man hasn't met an ethics code that he's not willing to violate.
Oh,
and he doesn't take Obamacare.
Well, the first season was pretty cringe with him. I'll admit he got better towards the end.
Oh, they never do that CGI effect on his face again.
Yeah, they only did it once
smile.
or twice. Or the
that smile.
Yeah, that weird smile.
They
that
did
tongue.
it in the final episode, but they don't take it anywhere near as far. It's 10%
it was
as far.
It was just enough to know that. Yeah, no, I love Phlox. I absolutely loved him because he's not human, and so we shouldn't expect him to act like a human doctor with human morality. I love him.
He has his own unique morality. He's more or less consistent. I can't think of times when he's really off the rails. The only thing that's weird is he gets used bizarrely when they ship to Paul and Trip. The only time that they really ship people that doesn't outright bother me, because I don't mind the actors together, they're good, it is the opposite of Kira and Vedic Baral. Like, I like when Trip and Kira go, like Trip and T'Pol have their episodes together. I like both actors, and they don't always just sit around and talk about how like good looking they are or how much they love each other. They actually they have a weird relationship. They're reserved about how they talk to her. He doesn't know how to handle her, and sometimes it's actually an adventure. Like the first thing they do together is when he's gonna like burn her for being a witch, when he's freaking out from space like he's on space like mushrooms. When they're on that planet with the psilocybin in the air or whatever it is, it has a psychoactive compound in the plants.
I hate it when that happens.
I don't know. Ariel Ballet was saying that Crusher was the worst. I've always had a crush on Crusher for probably decades. So
Wesley
she's the prettiest Doctor, but I would agree that she was like. And Sean brought this to my attention, but once he brought it up, I kept watching it. Crusher sometimes, especially early on, gives real flat performances where you wonder if she's not like a mental patient. It's like her affect is very flat. She does not seem to care. Patient does not care again today about the people in her care. It's just like, what the hell is going on with Bev? It's just like she talks to Wesley and she's like, Wes, you need to do better at school or I'm not going to let you spend your leisure time playing this game. Have you tried this game, by the way? And it's just like she's lost here and there.
She's never been a real parent because I just slap him up the back of the head.
It would have been what everyone wanted. There's so many weird things going on in season
one. I'm a little
impartial
on this, or I'm a little partial because
I think she's really pretty
on Crusher, and so I thought redheads were always best, and so I married a redhead. We've been married for many years.
Copycat like me.
Yeah.
Hey, but Dr. McCoy's a pretty looking dude too. I think he's a pretty handsome doctor, right? Come on, let's give Dr. McCoy some points here. Come on, with the ladies or anyone else out there might have a crush on McCoy.
Crushing on Wesley Crusher.
As we'll find out in 3 weeks, Nancy Crater is a handsome woman. As Captain Kirk so inappropriately and weirdly says, because the 60 years ago is longer than you think. For him to say a handsome woman, it doesn't really fly. It hasn't flown since like the late 80s.
I was going to say
I use it all the time.
Called
I use it obnoxiously all the time. All right, so Crusher, she does seem to have some acting disconnects. I don't know if she was the worst character or the worst. What the hell happened here?
Susan McCoy is a pretty woman there.
Woo! Did you combine McCoy and Deanna?
Looks like a transformer to me.
Oh no!
What? Oh God! Oh, this is Kurtzman Trek. That
Kirk
was funny,
pretty
though.
cute there.
I might do Kirk. Kal-El says
I blame the
like she was reading
Decepticons.
off a teleprompter. Yeah, she's every once in a while. Like there are sporadic terrible performances by Gates McFadden, and there's holes in the good performances. I will say this: by the time we have the episode where they get captured and the alien race puts the sensors in them where they can't be more than like 10 meters apart. Her acting's fine by then, and she doesn't give bad performances after a certain point. But when they throw Sub Rosa at her and us, though, I mean, what are we supposed to expect? Of course, it was terrible. And she couldn't help it.
It did give us some good memes, though.
It did, and you know what? We all have a ghost of a chance with Bev. What can I say? She does, not Sub Rosa, but her acting improving, like at least she took it seriously. And, her and Deanna, stretching out together will always be like a high point in my,
the exercise class. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Dancing Doctor. They did a lot to build onto that character. She was a very complete character. I will say the more believable Doctor and the Doctor who we had seen before, but as a man, they gender swap McCoy and just call it Dr. Pulaski for TNG, but that's a whole nother discussion. And we spent a whole lot of time on our Doctor I would like to throw this one out there, and I would like to run through the panel on this one. Sirs, madams, let's talk about the man who powers us through this entire experience. Let's talk about the incomparable acting and strong performance, in my opinion, put in by our fantastic Captain Jonathan Archer. It took a man from New York to fix it. Star Trek was broken, and only he could fix it. From Archer Tower in Schenectady or wherever he's from. He's from upstate. They never get specific.
There were a lot of reservations when he was announced as captain. A lot of people didn't think that he was the right choice for the job. In season 1, he was a little soft. He was
naive. Naive.
Yeah. And some of that may have been writing. Some of that may have been him finding the role. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know. I guess opinions are varied on that. I think by season 4, he proves that, he was the captain. He did it. But a lot of trepidation and uncertainty about that in leading up into season 1.
Might be the second best captain, in my opinion. I really admired his leadership in the Xindi arc. Mm-hmm. I really admired his risk-taking in the dealing with the weapon. I really admired his dedication to saving the Earth. I really admired his antagonism of the Xindi reptilians when they captured him. And the one recurring thing about Archer I always loved was how he would torment his tormentors. But you know what, JT, you know what, you got to have the first word. Let's go to Crimlon. What did you think of this new and interesting Captain Archer?
I actually liked Archer. He was different. Clearly a lot different than Kirk and any of that. But I could say that he was definitely. I'd say he probably fit on about a little bit higher than Janeway for me. I think there were.
Really?
I did like Voyager, but Janeway at times got really under my skin. This guy being new, you got to at least see real emotions versus the condensation of Janeway during her time periods, especially during season 1.
Is it just because you're a toxic masculine man?
Yes.
You didn't like a woman.
Yeah. Exactly. I did like the fact that he kind of did have some of the traits of what Kirk did. He always wanted to fight. Although there were times where I just thought he was just a little too angry instead of wanting to calm down and think things through. He would always get a little too emotional, which does not fit for his role as a captain. So there were times where I think the writing may have been a little too much, but I actually liked him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oops. All right. There we go. Now I'm unmuted. All right. I appreciate that take. It was a good one. And let's throw it to Germ. Germ, Jonathan Archer comes bursting into Starfleet headquarters in civilian clothes and starts yelling at the Vulcans. It's the first time we ever see him. They're talking about some dead, dying Klingot on the table. What did you think about this guy? What was your feelings about Captain Jonathan Archer?
I think he is a great representation for humanity at that time in their development. Wow. A little hot-headed, but he grows into the role. He becomes what humanity is for the Coalition at the end and then the Federation later. He is basically what holds everything together, and you needed someone with the gravitas of Scott Bakula to pull that off. I think he was perfect casting for the role.
All right.
Like Scott Bakula is a pretty good actor, though. I've liked him in a lot of things, so I think he fit really well for it.
I got to agree with that one. I think Scott Bakula was born to be a Star Trek captain after seeing the job he did. There's Mira Bakula, all crazy. You know what? In this Mirror episode, one of the things that I thought was the most entertaining moment of the whole thing, I think, was Prime Archer's Mirror Wraith, because it's all in the mind of Mirror Archer, who's just crazy as fuck, and he's bothered by having read the story of Prime Archer, and Prime Archer shows up and starts taunting Mirror Archer, and only Mirror Archer can see it, and Mirror Archer is so insane that he knows he's insane, so he just kind of hangs out and like lets Mirror Archer torture him. There we go. And that was great. Look at that.
But really, is there a lot of difference between Mirror Archer? Was there really a big difference between both of them, though?
Oh, Mirror Archer's a wreck. Mirror Archer digs drinking. He's not like an alcoholic, but he does dig drinking. Like he'll just grab a bottle of booze and start sucking it down without thinking about it. Like if you hand it to him, which is like he likes it a little too much. He may not be an alcoholic, but he likes it a little too much. Captain, help me out.
Mirror
here.
Archer is a commander.
Captain Forrest, I was going to say, keeps him down. Is taking Hoshi from him. He's ruined from it. He's broken from losing Hoshi. He's broken from being kept down by Captain Forrest. Captain Forrest is a mean piece of garbage because he's being kept down by Admiral Gardner. The whole thing is topsy-turvy. It's really crazy stuff, and we get to enjoy possibly Star Trek's best journey to the Mirror Universe courtesy of this show. But in seasons 1 and 2, we've got a different story than seasons 3 and 4. I'm going to keep my criticism to the order of the episodes. I guess I asked Krimon, Germ, your season 2, 1 and 2, just like the thumbnail sketch.
I think most of the stories in season 2 are good, except for the ones that bring in the whole Temporal Cold War. Yeah. That was always the least popular part of the series. I'm glad they finally got rid of it. It is kind of dragged down by those episodes and really bad pacing for how they scattered out the episodes in the series in that season.
The pacing was terrible. I agree. I guess like they got like their injection of money or like half their budget late or something, and they're like, okay, now we can put the crew together for a little while. And it's like, oh, finally we get to see these people doing some Star Trek like teamwork instead of taking all these little side quests. It's like, wow, like there he is sucking down. There's a reason he can. Wow, Sean, great find. The toy comes with the Andorian brandy. Is it right?
Yeah, I think
it's not Romulan ale.
Yeah,
it's
Gatorade.
There you go.
What are these hits?
It's got electrolyte.
They got the little meme thing right there.
I gotta get
hold
this
different
figure.
gear and to hold the knife. I have to get one too. Mirror Archer is pretty awesome.
It's a real toy. I thought this was just a meme.
Yeah.
No, this is a new figure. No, it's South Toys. Yeah.
I recognized it as
Wave
the real.
1.
I want this toy. I want this toy. It is so awesome. All right.
The hands for the trigger. The phaser.
the different.
That's what she said.
Communicator and the couple of knives, and it looks like he's got some tech. But all right, so Sean, it's your chance. Just your quick thought on season 1, and season 2. You know, why is 1's doing so great? What the hell went wrong in season 2?
Season 1 was really good, especially Broken Bow. I think you've said it a few times. It's probably one of the best series openers that we had.
Yeah, it might be the best.
It was really good. I love that they were slowly introducing the technology. Not everything worked well, and their technology was kind of in line as an allegory to them finding everything out as they went. And they're discovering new species, they're discovering new tech, everything's new and fresh, and it was really cool. I wish we would have gotten more of that. I think one of my favorite episodes when they get the phasers working and they just blow the shit out of that asteroid. That was a
yeah.
first shot.
No, they blow the top off a mountain on a small moon.
Yeah. That
because
was
they overcalibrated. That's Florida man for you. They that was true to life. Like torn from the headlines, Star Trek. It's like, hey, Florida man, can you put the Bushmasters on the front of the ship onto maximum fire? No problem, Captain. I got an idea how we can roll coal and fire them at the same time, sir.
Yeah, Trip wanted to put a winch on the front of the Enterprise, and then
that's
4 bright lights on the top.
Well, what I think was once we saw the Space MAGA hat in Trip's quarters, and we knew that he was into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When we found the episode where he talked about how he wanted to put a steam drive into the ship and run it on beautiful clean coal, that was maybe the peak of Space Florida Man. But no, Space Florida Man overdoing it with the weapons, definitely amazing.
Yeah.
What went wrong in season 2?
I think it's like you said, that they just the order of the episodes was, again, it's almost like they didn't have a plan. They didn't know where they wanted to go with it. It probably needed some more time, or planning ahead of time. Okay, where are we going to take them in season 2? There are some good episodes, but it's a little bit it's a little wishy-washy. But we do get Carbon Creek, which I put in one of my top 50 Star Trek episodes of all time, and that's my thought on it. And I think Germ sent a message in the back. We gotta
Germ,
yeah, I gotta get going.
Any final thought before you leave? On a serious?
This has been a great retrospective. My opinion of Enterprise as a whole has definitely increased over the last 2 years, especially season 3, and can't wait to get on to the original series.
All right, Germ, sir, thank you. You know what? You've been a great partner on all these missions, and a great weekday co-host. Thank you for being there on Friday. I had a great time. I'll talk to you later. Beat me down to the planet.
Bye, everybody.
Germ. All right. I guess we can just go to Mark real quick for your thoughts. What season 1 works out so great? What high point to it you want to maybe point out? And season 2 chaotic.
Yeah, season 1. I just love the opening episode, and just to talk quickly about Archer too. Yeah, he's a different kind of captain, and of course he loves the world's most popular sport, water polo, which is not played with ponies in a pool. It's actually people swimming around. The crazy thing is one of my sons was a water polo goalie, so I'd always laugh watching these Enterprise episodes when Archer's catching the feed of the water polo games. Like, who the hell knows what water polo is? Very select few people, but kind of, and Porthos too, we got to mention too. So he's got some great character traits, and I heard from the ladies they loved him in that volleyball episode. What episode when they're stuck on that desert planet and they get
when they're with the Kurgan?
The Kurgan,
but I mean, Bakula's ripped, man. Like, he's a big,
tall,
lean guy. He's built like a Major League Baseball player. I could absolutely buy him as a starting pitcher or a quarterback. Not any other kind of football player, but a starting pitcher for sure. I could buy him as any kind of baseball player, but especially a starting pitcher. Maybe even like a middle infielder. His wiry build. I would not want to fight Scott Bakula. I think Scott Bakula, would beat up any guy his age for year.
Was that Desert Crossing? That's
Desert Crossing with Clancy Brown
that I mentioned. Yeah.
Everybody goes shirtless, and people are shocked because he looks better than the underwear model. Like, he's more ripped than Trip.
He did
the movie Lord of Illusions, which I really liked. He had a shirt off in that. He was pretty ripped.
Yeah.
Bakula's got a great physique.
Yeah, so we're all saying Scott is very sexy, and he's not. But he's got
a bunch of guys, yeah.
Yeah, no, but come on, it's not easy to be in that kind of a shape, right? Even though, you could argue it is your job, but I think Fallen Hero was pretty good episode too. So there's some good good setup to Star Trek, and I do like Archer. It just Picard. You didn't like in the beginning, then he grows on you. Kirk, you instantly think is awesome, right? He's the cool kid in the room. Everyone wants to be James T. Kirk, right? and we're fortunate to have him with us on the panel tonight. But yeah, no, everyone wants to be Kirk, right? So and really tough shoes to fill too, right? You got to do a prequel to Star Trek, and you've got TNG is on a high note right now, right? It's hitting at all cylinders. So really tough to come in here with this prequel, and I think they did a good job setting it up. And yeah, it's just a shame we didn't get 7-8 years of the show, but we did almost get 100 episodes too, right? So I mean, that's back when they did a real season, right? So we had 25 episodes in season 1. So 25 episodes today is 3 seasons of a show.
They go about 26 every season, like a couple weird lengths here and there.
Yeah, but it's so we do get quite a bit of it, and the character development is really well done. I love Hoshi too. Being she's scared to go into space, right? She doesn't want to be out there, and they need Hoshi. So yeah, I really did enjoy season 1. Season 2 hit some rough points, but it's a great it's a great setup. And thinking I'm always think of my Star Trek buddy Clobberin times, and he go back. I think I mentioned it last week. Go back and watch his episode in defense of Enterprise on his channel. And I'm in the chat on that one, which is kind of fun. Just getting to meet everyone back then, and listen to his take as well too. But he loved Enterprise. Was always a big proponent of it. Loved Archer, and he loved it too. So it's if you after this show, go back and if you want to take a listen to what Clobby said and Raquel. But really, I think really tough thing to pull off, and I think they did it with this season 1. And I don't think it gets the love that it should get. It's just a shame that it didn't do great in the ratings, and people say, "Oh, Star Trek fatigue." But man, can you imagine how cool it'd be to get some of these episodes now coming out week to week, right? I mean, how awesome would it be have this show now, right? Real Star Trek. So when I watched this last episode of a few years ago, I was sad. I'm like, this is my last new Star Trek, and a couple episodes I'd missed, or maybe I just totally forgotten out of my memory bank. I don't remember seeing this episode. This is awesome, a new episode for me. So yeah, so they did a really nice job, especially in this first season, setting up the show.
Hello, RJ Godzilla. It's great to see you, sir. You know what?
That episode out.
Way to go.
Okay, so if people do want to watch what you were talking about later, it's out there now.
Thank you, JT. Yep.
We're going to spend the majority of the rest of our conversation on seasons 3 and 4, because that's when the show really changes in nature. And unfortunately, like, the one thing I do want to talk about before we wrap it up on seasons 1 and 2 is things are going really well in some areas, but the seeds of destruction, in my opinion, were planted in seasons 1 and 2. And if anyone wants to take any of these and either object to it or validate it, just let me know. These are the things that I think destroyed Star Trek and gave it to J.J. Abrams. Everything. It was everything. The theme song was a little too arrogant. We've seen the theme song put with Archer's theme. It was a much better match. It was much more Star Trek. It was much better. You already were saying, like, we're going to go through this whole show and never see a Delta logo. I was waiting for someone to take a piss by the middle of season 2. I'm like, when they went to that first planet that they went to, I was waiting for maybe someone to walk off in the woods to say they had to take a leak or something. I honestly, I didn't know what they were going to do, because they're eating in every episode and being very human, and their clothes being identifiably similar to ours. Honestly, kind of worked. It was much more grounded seeming Star Trek, even though the first episode does end with a beaming Archer up because you have no choice. Broken Bow, everyone said it was the greatest episode, but
on that note,
go ahead, Welshie.
Did he mute himself?
I was just going to say, on that note, something. Something that stands out at this moment is what you're saying about season 1 and 2. I'm actually going through the season 2 and 1 episode and sort of catalog in the background, going, actually, there are very few bad episodes in season 2.
They are
actually some really good ones.
I
I mean, season 1's got Shuttlepod 1. Where I was going was this. Something that Kurtzman Trek gets horribly wrong, is that it uses 20th century or 21st century vernacular contemporary speech. Yeah, like
yes,
we've got this, which is my least favorite expression ever. Whereas Enterprise is clever in that it sticks to the Star Trek approach of using very standard English devoid of slang, and slang is only inserted to point out that it is slang.
They always say, I think they used to call it.
The three people they thought out, and the guy was saying he wanted a pit woofie to make a memory, and it was the point that it was slang. Yep.
You know what? I think my closing thought on season 2 and and all the things that were a problem, this carries over into season 2. Season 1, we mess up to Paul. People were weirded out, and we had to explain what we meant by the plexiglass armor. They put a cuirass onto Jolene Blaylock, and it takes them a season and a half to realize that they don't have to make her prettier by putting a plastic shell onto her. It was insane. It was a stupid freaking idea. After we see how gorgeous she is with no help, we get more and more frustrated with how she looked in season 1 and 2. A lot of women have said she looks uncanny. Yes.
So it's not plastic. That was fiberglass. I resent the implication.
It was a well-formed fiberglass. Listen, if you want to mold me a woman off of that fiberglass shell, that would be fine. And I think Vince Neil had 2 wives made off of that mold, but that's neither here nor there. He still had a lot of money to waste getting married and divorced back then. Go ahead.
I want to buy one of the molds if I can.
Yeah. I want to comment on something Walsh said, and you're right that they avoided using too much common vernacular, but they did throw a little bit in there. However, it makes more sense that they would have that in Enterprise. That was set in the year 2151. So I mean, if you think
more
even
understandable
today,
stuff too.
It was things even today we're using phrases that were, around 150 years ago. Not
knows
many,
the ropes is
some.
from the age of sailing ships.
And they did it in a limited way and in a way that made sense. So there is a little bit of 20th century language kind of hanging around, but I think that was almost done intentionally. But it's not anything like what we see in the current junk.
Yeah, they would say something as retarded as they went the whole 3 meters.
Yeah, but for instance, in Academy, they said someone ghosted you. I mean, they're using all these modern day terms that
gnarly, man.
Yeah,
actually, no, that's
stuff.
not modern anymore. That would have been more appropriate.
Yeah, but the few little droppings we got in Enterprise makes sense. It's not that far from where we are now.
It's 100 years from now, roughly, and we have only a few words surviving. No one says stuff there are no arboreal analogies. No one says gone to seed. They have more of a systems analysis outlook, and those are the kind of analogies that survive, would be the way I would put it. Also, a lot of the analogies and colloquialisms comes out when Hoshi is trying to explain what other people mean. And she has to put things in very plain English that even the audience will understand.
I need to get going soon, though. I have to go to the haberdashery.
There was use of the second to last episode because some of the words they were using for off-worlders were not in the Universal Translator.
The Universal Translator is a little bit of magic thinking. So I want to say this. Everything killed season 1. The fiberglass suit. Season 2. It was a pile up of weirdness. Turning off a lot of people with the theme song, the weird outfit onto Paul, the continuous trying to fix Jolene Blaylock to make her pretty. Like, what the hell kind of crazy thinking is this? I'm not trying to sound like this is Kurtzman fuel. They just simply made a mistake. They were trying to give the people what they wanted. They weren't giving us a pear-shaped woman who's a face model in a fitness model role, and then shaming us for being baffled that she's called beautiful when it's like, yeah, I mean, in the face, but I mean, this is like, why are you throwing this woman out there in a catsuit? It's mean and uncharitable. And, I don't think that Star Trek has like some sort of progressive need to tell us what's sexy. Gene Roddenberry knew what was appealing on a TV screen, and Star Trek Enterprise knows what was appealing on a TV screen. They overthought this one and fucked it up.
They were trying to copy out what 7 of 9 was from
I was
Voyage.
just going to say that. Do you guys think that they were trying to continue?
Yeah, it was probably the studio.
Yeah.
It was an overdoing of 7 of 9 for sure. And I realized Krimwan didn't get to give his season 1 and 2 validation there. But I would say that
I'm a nobody, so it's all right.
I'll let you handle this one, though. I'll let you handle Jolene Blaylock. What do you think of the fact that when do you think they finally beat the over-under on making her look worse than she needs to and start making her look like herself? I'm going to say it's like we're a couple of episodes into the Xindi arc when they stop putting like a lot of weird hair pieces on her, allowing her to look a little more, less alien so that we can get into digging her and liking her. Getting to a place where she didn't look as uncanny. And, like, I don't know if Jolene herself maybe gave up Botox or something, because she always had pouty lips, but they were really looking weird in season 2. Like, that trend, maybe she indulged. She may have drank a little too deeply from the Botox well for a year there. But Uncanny Jolene was a problem that lasted for 2 years. And when we look at the show, like, what kills it, it's just everything. And if you look at Carbon Creek, it is peak Star Trek and one of the best episodes of all time. But one of the reasons we rushed it and mess up season 2 by having such a great episode where you refresh people's enthusiasm in episode 12 or 15 rather than having it be episode 2 because it's a solo episode as well. And she doesn't play herself. She plays Tamir, continuing the Star Trek trope of having you play your own descendants and ancestors like Brett Spiner does all the time. But Tamir, who obviously is not the mother of Talis, it's her other grandmother, but Tamir, who looks exactly like T'Pol, like, she is completely, Jolene Blaylock with just... It's Jolene Blaylock with just the ears and in as normal clothes as we can get her so that it can show you, look, we made a mistake. This is how she really looks. Look.
Admiral, you said Jolene Blaylock with just the ears. And it... wow.
Basically the same thing.
Really
that would be something to see. What I'm saying is in Carbon Creek, Jolene Blaylock's alien makeover, aside from when she starts to tell the story, during the story itself, which we find out is true at the end when she pulls out the clutch that her grandmother bought, Tamir is Jolene Blaylock with absolutely no gloss and no Star Trek makeover except the ears. She's wearing the most plain and yet revealing clothes that they can put on her without going crazy. They're showing you that she is a very pretty girl and the uncanniness was their fault. It's an apology of sorts, in my opinion. And I think that's why Carbon Creek was rushed. It is peak Star Trek. Does anyone think it was at the right point in the season? Like, we come out of freaking Shockwave into that?
Well, if the rest of the season is firing on all cylinders, maybe not so bad, right? I think they put it early to have, this background on, the Vulcans and what they're doing and setting up, the Vulcan influence on Earth. So it can work where it is. It's just season 2, falters in a lot of ways, I think.
But Mark, do you think they just got desperate at that point to just go ahead and rewrite it for that?
Could be, could be, yeah, and they're trying to get out of this temporal time war, I think, too. So, with Shockwave, as you said,
War.
So yeah, that is a good point. It could be, but then I think that whole temporal time war really screwed up Enterprise big time. If they'd just done, exploration and going to new planets, meeting the Klingons and seeing the origins, I loved, Jeffrey Combs, as the Andorian later on. The Andorians. We did get some Andorians early
He's in
on
this
in the
show painfully little. What is it? 12 appearances, maybe?
Yeah. So when do we
Season
first meet
one
the
means
Andorians?
the Andorians. Season one
Right?
with
Yeah,
the
Shadows of
the
Bajem.
Andorian incident, and then Shadows of
and
Bajem.
Yeah.
They run that through really well.
the thing is, he doesn't show up till episode 15 of season 1. I'm not saying
Well,
that,
is it that late?
It was poorly. Yeah, it's not. Well, it takes that long. Shadows of Bajem.
No,
is episode
he's
20.
in Andorian Incident. He's in Andorian Incident, episode 6.
Okay.
Well,
No, it's season,
sorry.
Is it season 7, isn't it? Yes, episode 7.
No.
Well, it
was
depends on how you
episode
count the
7.
pilot or I
Yeah.
guess the numbering, but yeah.
You know you're in a panel with
That's
Yeah.
the pilot is messing up the.
you know you're in a panel with Trek nerds when they can jump down your throat
Yeah.
if you get the episode wrong.
Damn it! Yeah, you got the wrong number. Yeah. Off. You don't know Star Trek now. Yeah.
Turn in your
Well, I
nerd
mean, we are
card.
talking about a fandom that was like detail oriented enough to pay attention to the numbering of the decks during an action scene in Star Trek V and call it out as a mistake. I mean, Star Trek. Here's the thing: I don't know why they tried to go and supercharge it with J.J. Abrams when they did, because what you had was a beautiful orange grove that gave you a measured amount of oranges if you treated it right, and if you messed up a little, it still gave you oranges. Like the people who bought the orange juice were a little forgiving. It's like, last year's orange juice was better, but I'm going to come back for more orange juice because I still just like it. It's got vitamin C or whatever it might be that kept us coming back. Rewatchability is a franchise cornerstone. We found out that Enterprise has it. And at this point, I'm going to say, Welshie, you're welcome to come back next week. I know that we're not done yet, but we haven't scratched the surface of, seasons 3 and 4 where we have a lot more to talk about. So there's definitely going to be a part 2 to this discussion wherever we put a final stake in it. But, don't go anywhere yet. There's still plenty of saving Star Trek left to be had.
Yeah, same time next week, we'll bill your insurance.
I'll come back if I can.
It's included with your coverage.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Welshie, do you have anything you want to tell me about season 3 since it's like that? Talk to me about your season 3 feelings, because you were the difference maker in season 3. Season 2 is so frustrating. I was going to fast forward after I watched The Expanse and got angry. I was very angry after I watched The Expanse. So go ahead and tell people about
season 3. All right. Can you hear me? I'm just about
you were cutting out just a little bit.
Broke up briefly. It's because there's a lot of us. It's not you. So go ahead. We'll all mute.
Oh, looks
go ahead,
like
Welshie.
Here it comes. Maybe.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
The internet's a bit odd. There we are. Okay. So I got a lot of thoughts about season 3, and they're very much tied into my estimation of Scott Bakula, because I'll start by saying I'm not a Scott Bakula fan. I was not a fan of Quantum Leap. I didn't really find him sincere or believable as an actor until Enterprise. Now I watched Enterprise because J-Man, so our mutual friend, recommended it to me, and I gradually, he was reviewing it. He's doing 1-minute reviews of every single episode of Enterprise, right? So I was watching those, and I was watching the episodes thinking, it's pretty good.
I love
season
those.
3. Yeah, season 3 where Archer really takes it next level. I mean, you got that episode Damage, which is essentially the Enterprise equivalent of In the Pale Moonlight, which is one of the greatest episodes of DS9, and definitely, to my mind, one of the greatest episodes of Trek ever. For its exploration of morality in time of war, and you see Archer's trajectory as a captain and as a human, as a person, really take a different path in season 3. His desperation to save Earth, colors every decision he makes, and he starts to make some, he makes some seriously morally questionable decisions, and does some things that he really later on deeply regrets, and and he feels terrible. He comes home to a hero's welcome on Earth, doesn't feel he deserves it because of some of the not great things he's done. And I think it's a real testament to the show that they let him go down that path, that they let him be less morally upright than, say, Kirk or Picard. I mean, would Kirk have gone the same path? I don't know. Sisko definitely did. But I think Archer he gets his hands dirty personally, whereas Sisko not quite so much because he acts through intermediaries. But Archer, he gets his hands dirty himself. You know, and Bakula, to his credit, and this is something that surprised me, Bakula makes it very, very believable. And I really turned a corner on him as an actor looking at season 3. I mean, I love season 3 because it's essentially Starblazers, right? I can't even talk about it. That's why I changed my icon, right? I can't even think about season 3 without hearing the Starblazers theme. But yeah, Archer, he captures the moral quandary, and you see his reaction to those situations he's in, and you hear him, ruminating about what he should do. But he doesn't got the luxury of time like Sisko does. He is on the front line. Sisko's back at the station. Archer's on the front line, right? He's the only thing between humanity and annihilation. And the choices he makes, good and bad, right and wrong, are essential to our survival. And he just does a great job. I thought Bakula knocked it out of the park that season. And that's what really made it. I mean, season 3 is firing all cylinders. And season 3 has the zombie Vulcan episode as well, which has got, I think, 3 ticking clock elements going at once. I love that. People slag it off, but I love that episode. But
they do a decent job with tracking all 3 clocks, which is why, even though JT does not like the ticking clock, I don't think he had a particular problem with the space zombie crackhead Vulcan episode, which is fun. Fun episode.
Yeah, so I got
you should go back and
2 thumbs up.
But
I thought the funniest thing, and the meme was born with the
I think
episode.
Sean wants to respond.
Yeah, if I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was
Sean, go, Sean.
Great analysis. This is like one of the things I love when you're on, because you always point out things that I hadn't thought of. And you bring up a great point with Archer. And I think Bakula's performance in season 3 is a perfect example of a great actor being in tune with the writers and where the series is going, because you're right. He does start having to make these decisions, but the thing I love about it so much is it builds. As they get deeper into the Xindi territory, he's struggling more and more and more, and it shows, and he does such a great job. And real quickly to your point about Sisko, I think Sisko had already been through his trauma by losing his wife and dealing with Wolf 359. He had already been in the thick of things. He lost his wife. He's raising his kid. He saw all the tens of thousands of comrades die. So he was already kind of hardened.
Very true.
But Bakula was experiencing all these things for the first time ever. He's gone from an optimistic explorer to being thrown into this situation. And it was really great to see that arc through there. But really awesome analysis there. I just wanted to chime in and piggyback off what you
cheers.
said.
Thank you. Very kind indeed. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you know what? Great insight, Sean. Gave me a chance to put on the Azadi Prime video essay that we made for that episode because it was so important. And, of course, I freeze-framed it there so we could enjoy the isolation on Tucker Smallwood's fantastic name. We forget about all the fun we've had here talking about Star Trek. I don't know how many times we made a whole video essay around Tucker Smallwood laughing, and then we found out that character doesn't even have a name. See, look at she finally has her regular hair here halfway through the Xindi season, and they're not even consistent with that. The temporal Cold War intruding into stories, always a problem.
Yep.
We'll have a lot more to say about seasons 3 and 4. I would have to say, as I looked at this show, the baggage of the temporal Cold War they had to drag around was a real problem. I don't know, Mark, did you have a particular grudge against any of the storylines other than the temporal Cold War?
In the first 2 seasons, yeah.
I didn't like the way that one came around, but you would think that they would screw everything else up, but then when they bring in other Star Trek stuff and other Star Trek lore, for instance, I thought their handling of Section 31 was really, really good because Section 31 was as we remembered from Deep Space Nine. They weren't a bunch of like murderers and extremists. They were ready to do what had to be done under the Federation Charter, and they had morality and they had assets.
Well, they're kind of like the James Bond of the Federation, which, I mean, it makes sense to me that you would have, you'd have a spy corps in Starfleet. You've always got to have special forces, but I just think that later on they take it way too far, and
but
it's really not
Section
in the spirit of
31
Star Trek.
doesn't have
here,
their.
it's not so bad. It's more Deep Space Nine where they go off the rails, I think.
They don't have their own
later.
agenda in this episode, in this version of Star Trek, right? When
Yeah.
the whole planet's in danger again in the Terra Prime thing, and Terra Prime looks like they could tank the Federation, the Section 31 guys are right on board trying to restore order. Like they were more about keeping the Federation intact than doing like crazy spy subterfuge. They were definitely more benevolent than the Deep Space Nine guys who they even were doing better than the ones from New Trek. They at least had ships, but they had like at least a more clear mission. They were shown as a little more ruthless, but two stories. They're in two
they
stories.
also they dealt mainly with information. They didn't have their own tech yet. They didn't have their own ships quite because the NX-01 is the only Warp 5 capable ship. So Section 31's reach was through subspace.
Limited. And how did the guy from Galaxy Quest get in Enterprise? The main villain of Galaxy Quest. It's like, I just love Galaxy Quest with a spoof, but yeah, the Enterprise, NX-01 takes a beating, right? I mean, it's not a high tech.
Whoa,
God, you see crew members flying out there. That was an amazing shot. If you go back a couple of seconds,
they are
seeing
the
crew members, flying out of the ship there. So
we're combining practical effects with CGI. Like we do this full body burn and the crew members.
The crew members flying out, which is horrific.
Great editing.
They're perfectly to scale.
Really seen in Star Trek before.
Yeah,
that was a whole new level of just graphic nature to it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to show that either. Back in the day, you probably couldn't show that, right? Yeah. We don't belong in space. Yeah.
You probably couldn't.
Yeah. So this is really well done. And I just think it's I know you asked about not the temporal war, but I think it's like a anvil hanging over your head, ready to drop the whole time this season is going on. The series is going on. So I think that's the problem. Yeah. Yep. So Daniel's arranging with the Temporal Office Exchange Program apparently. Yeah. So I just I didn't really enjoy. I did enjoy season one and two, but like anything, there's hit and misses in each any show, right? I mean, even TOS had the alternative factor, so I mean, there's some clunkers out there. So just not everything is perfect, but we grow to really appreciate these characters, and I think that season 3, a lot of people really hated on season 3, but I think it plays together really well when you're streaming. It's a much more cohesive season. So I think 2 it's kind of gets weak, and then 3 is love hate with season 3, which is interesting.
Yeah, people are strongly divided about it. I think the Klingon episode has the most people angry, but I enjoy the Klingon episode. By the way, you're going to see it here as we get more into the meat of it. This mashup of the Azadi Prime battle, this is beyond the Dominion War, the most balls out space battle in all of Star Trek ever. It's incredible. I love the Battle of Azadi Prime, and I love the following episode, Damages. We see some of the best Star Trek and some of the best Star Trek acting ever. I would just ask this question, and it's a yes or no. You can elaborate a little bit. Let's keep the tangents to a minimum on this one. I'm going to ask you a question. Bird of Prey 5 answered with an unambiguous, immediate yes to this one. I said, Of all the Star Trek shows, do you think that maybe Enterprise hits and bats for a slightly higher average than most, and that is a slightly better show as far as episode by episode? And he just said, yeah, like it's most of the episodes are real strong. So I'll go around the horn. Let's start with Krimlon. What do you think about that?
Is it good overall as an average compared to the other?
What I'm saying
series
is,
out
like,
there?
episode by episode, are your chances of seeing a really good episode of Star Trek maybe slightly higher with Enterprise than other shows? Like, there's less episodes of it. Most of them are real good. If you turn on Enterprise, the chances of that you see Rogue Planet are very low, 1 in 98.
I think it could be. I think majority of the episodes were fairly decent. They weren't outrageously horrible. Just thinking back on The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, oh my God, there were some episodes that I thought were either very cringy or were just outright just like, why was this even created? And I can say on average, yeah, probably it was. Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, this probably could be correct.
Well said.
All right. Well, Krimlon, well said. Let's move on to Germ is not here. So, Sean, you get to take the next crack at this one. What do you think?
100% agree. You are far less likely to come across a stinker of Enterprise. I mean, there's very few episodes where I'm like, I'm not watching that, but there's a
Horizon,
ton,
and that's it.
Yeah, there's a ton of TNGs that I just, when I go through and I'm like, oh, I want to watch TNG, I'm like, nope. And Voyager too. Yeah, I think especially for only having 4 seasons, there are far fewer stinkers. You're more likely to, if you see Enterprise on, to, I'll watch this one. Yep.
May not be the greatest, episode all time or anything, but it's at least watchable.
It usually gets on base. May not hit a home run, but it usually will hit a single.
That's I believe to be just one of the things about Enterprise that we can sort of take for granted. All right, so Sean is a strong yes. Mark, batting average of Star Trek Enterprise seems to be somewhat higher than other Star Trek shows in general. Seems to be that way.
Well, of course, when you think of TNG, the first 2 seasons are freaking terrible. I mean, a couple episodes here and there. I did like the pilot, so yeah, I guess I would kind of have to agree with it. There's not a ton of real clunkers. I dislike that temporal timeline. Not to bang that over the head too much, but yeah, the episodes are really well crafted, and there's some interesting stuff, and I love that exploration that they're getting to. So Voyager, God, there's a lot of clunkers in Voyager, and Deep Space Nine is not my Star Trek. And the way I'm saying that is not that I don't like it. It's just I want to be out there exploring.
It is the most different Star Trek show.
Yeah, it's it's on a space station, and it's you're not exploring.
You didn't love Kiroto?
Your mic was kind of breaking up, JT. Who?
You didn't love Kiroto, the romance?
No. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's just so yeah, that's an interesting point. I never thought of it that way, but of course nothing beats TOS. I mean, but that's if you're comparing all the other Star Trek that's out there, it's pretty tightly wound, and the advantage, of course, it's only got the four seasons. So interesting point to bring up.
You know what? I just realized, oh my God, I'm a year older. It's past midnight. It's my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
My God, 39.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Wish I could be that young again.
Yeah. Wish I could be 39. God.
You know what it was? Well,
you look like shit.
It's because
I didn't say it this time.
All right, so I've got a few gray hairs. A little radiation will do that to a man. Ever since we went down to that planet and we met those Federation scientists who super aged, I've been a little older, but then slowing down a little bit. But You know what? My hot girlfriend, who looks mysteriously like my hot girlfriend from the planet where we go for shore leave, she'll help me work my way through it. Bones, gonna have some space Viagra. Guys, there's no way we're going to talk about 2 more seasons of Star Trek Enterprise. We have the luxury of doing this. It looks like we have 1 more week of the Linda Park beginning being topical. What's going on this week with your show? We got Geekery tomorrow, Mark?
Yeah, we got the geek, and of course, well, I want to say, of course, happy birthday! It's surely the best of times.
Thank you.
Yep. So, and it was just my birthday a couple days ago too. So
happy birthday, buddy! And Trump's birthday was last Saturday.
Trump's birthday. Yeah. So a lot of great birthdays.
Happy birthday!
Yeah. my birthday was 10 days ago. So
happy birthday, Kremlin. Yeah. It's
a good month to be
our
born.
Birthday months,
Man,
right?
People getting busy in September. Huh?
September was a bit. Well, as my mom always tells it, the strict Catholic family, all the aunts were using their fingers to count how many months. She tells me I was a honeymoon baby. I'm like, I don't want to know that, please.
Oh, I thought it was
yes,
Notre Dame victory, baby. Every time Notre Dame wins the game,
Yeah, baby is born. But yes, we will have. We will have Sunday Night Geekery tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. Be there. We're gonna do, we'll do like a Father's Day special, I'm sure, because it is Father's Day. So we'll do something dad-centric out there. If you're still allowed to be a dad, can you identify as a dad? I guess you can. Damn. Or as a birthing person, but the opposite, I guess, a non-birthing person.
It's Father's Day is weird for me because I have 2 fathers, but I did it the old-fashioned way. I'm adopted.
Oh, we thought you were referring to 2 fathers as the other way.
You know what? Here's something funny. If you do the math, I was born on Stonewall Day is also today, and my adopted father was there. And this is going to sound like a crazy tangent on my Juneteenth riff where I gave it like credit to the Union Army. But like, you know what? If not for the NYPD riot squad and guys like my dad, would there really be a gay rights movement or a Stonewall? So, Dad, could you just stay home from work that day? No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? What's gayer than being in a gay nightclub dressed as a cop? Although he really was a cop, so it's bizarre.
He really had 2 dads.
Deborah also calls 2 other men daddy currently, so he has like 4 daddies.
How he gets his rent paid. I mean, that's all right.
There's Trump Daddy,
Space Daddy.
Space Daddy. All right, guys.
I will tell you, don't take doses of Cerberus because you're going to overshoot and you're not going to be like 21. You're going to go back to being like 8 years old.
That could be a problem. Yeah.
All right.
To overtake Cerberus.
It should have been Pink. Happy the birthday girl.
F you. If I still look like
I'll cry if I want to.
That looks like Martin Scorsese.
Well, that would explain a lot. I mean, with the 2 dads and all.
Well, you know what? I mean, just because my old glasses made me look like a gay pimp in an Italian red light district doesn't mean that I am. Although, if you're ever lonely and you're in Milan, call my phone number and you'll be surprised what I can do for you. Thank you very much, everyone. James Rose,
the
Trek reviewer.
Judaism and then decided to become a director.
It's good to see everybody out there. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Happy birthday to you, RJ Godzilla. I'm sorry that we missed it. And thank you, and hello to everyone. Listen, I really appreciate the good wishes. Sean, have you finished a model of late?
No, but I've been making tremendous progress with the Reliant. Just getting ready to put it all together. She's looking so good, man. I can't wait to show everybody this thing.
Excellent. All right, listen, don't go anywhere because you get to see Sydney Sweeney dance, and boy, does she ever dance.
What about our buddy, Senor Radioactive?
Senior Radioactive will be joining us with a pass. I think has been sent out to him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Radioactive, sir. Check your mailbox. Crimlon took care of this one, so wherever Crimlon sends you, wherever your better mails are sent.
Admirals, yeah, part one and two. There you go. I was just going to say, KLL 64 with a very nice message.
I did not see it. Let me go take
Would
a
you
look.
like me
I'm
to read
sorry,
it?
It's on the
guys.
screen.
Oh, okay. Admiral, just wanted to take a moment to thank you, sir, for covering a truly underrated show. You and your panelists did a fantastic job, sir. You know
Thanks,
what?
Kal-El.
Thank you, Kal-El. That means so much. We have been, interacting for so long, even back with the other show before this, talking Star Trek for so long. When you started coming around and talking Star Trek with this show, I really felt a sense of accomplishment. I always enjoy our Star Trek conversations, and you bring a lot to the show. 2 of 2. I also wanted to thank you indirectly for recommending that awesome desktop wallpaper featuring the NX-01. It's been my PC's wallpaper ever since I found it. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. And you know what? It's a beautiful ship. It really is. So I'm glad you enjoy it. And we'll talk more about Enterprise, but I will say this for myself. She was an overworked, underpowered bucket of bolts, always in danger of flying apart at the seams. But I'll never forget my first command. I believe that's what Captain Picard says of the USS Stargazer. I would say that I have a much more powerful ship than he had. I love being commander of the NX-01. I remember when we all walked onto this ship together, onto this bridge. It seemed much smaller than the Star Trek bridges that we were used to. It's just tiny compared to a new Trek bridge, but this ship has felt like home for 104 straight weeks. And we'll all be back next week with as much of this as we can to finish out the Star Trek Enterprise panel. Then, wow, watch out, 4th of July, Patton. It's going to be one of the most incredible events in channel history. Do not miss the Patton. Do not miss the Patton review coming on the 4th of July, Saturday. We will be here for America 250. I will be taking a Learjet from Washington, D.C., where I'll be performing at the concert to be back here in time. And you know what? We love you all. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on Saving Star Trek. I think that everyone's earned Sydney Sweeney. Oh, boy, is she ever hot. You know, if I ever got my hands on her, whoa!
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
All right, let's let you go with a little bit of Star Trek 44 seconds of Sydney Sweeney. Here she comes.
Yes, even rich Corinthian leather.
We'll see you all next week. We love you all, and we leave you with the ultimate question. We love you all, and
This is a personal massager.